the Mets team bus this morning. After all, after snapping their 5-game losing streak last night, back to the Bronx for day baseball after Oliver Perez shut down the Yankees last night. He got help at the end from Billy Wagner, a 1-2-3 ninth inning, as the Mets got back on the winning track. Now the Yankees, who had their 9-game winning streak stopped last night, will try and get even this afternoon, back in the Bronx in the shadow of the Big Bat. From Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, the CW11 presents New York Mets baseball today. The Mets play the New York Yankees. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Yankee Stadium. Gary Cohen, Ron Darling, Keith Hernandez with you today as the Mets play the middle game of their 3-game series against the Yankees. Last night, the Mets used great pitching, they used good defense, and they used the multiple skills of Jose Reyes to get the job done.
Well, Jose Reyes on the last road trip was a little bit of a slump, didn't get on base a lot. Well, last night, that was a different story. He was really the star of the ball game. 3 for 3, drove in both runs for the Mets in their 2-0 victory. Stole 3 bases here on this steal of third right here, set up another run score. This was the big blast on the hanging curveball from Clemens for the second Met run. So as we've always said, as Jose Reyes goes, so goes the Mets.
And the Mets got a lot from Reyes last night. They also got plenty from Oliver Perez, 7 1/3 shutout innings, and he was just filthy last night.
You know, when you're struggling, Gary, just a well-pitched game can sometimes get you out of it. And the great thing about Perez is that he was so aggressive. He went right after these great Yankee hitters. They've been on such a roll, A-Rod included. He went right after them with that fastball, really blew them away. Had a little trouble in the 4th inning, bailed out by Carlos Gomez, but outstanding last night.
And now Tom Glavine takes the ball, trying for the 5th time now to get win number 296. Now, the first 3 times he pitched well enough to win, but the last start in Detroit, not a good one.
Yeah, he did struggle, giving up 9 earned runs, and he's sick of talking about this quest to 300, but that's just how it goes. The best way to get it out of your system is to get to 300. 296 today, hoping to get that against the Yankees. And pitching for the Yankees, Tyler Clippard, the young 22-year-old who pitched his first major league start against the Mets and was outstanding. Had a great fastball, good curveball over the top. He was aggressive too, of the Met hitters, and showed an outstanding changeup, probably his best pitch.
Clippard, like Glavine, is coming off his worst start of the season. He gave up 6 runs in 3 innings against the Pirates in his last start. So it's Glavine for the Mets, Clippard for the Yankees. The middle game of 3 at Yankee Stadium. Mets have won 3 out of 4 from the Yankees this year. They can clinch the season series with a win today. All the action coming up on the CW11. To the game are brought to you by your local BMW dealers.
We see Glavine back on track. Had a real rough start last one. Still struggling with runners in scoring position, and Clippard trying to repeat the wonderful performance he had at Shea Stadium. First start in the big leagues, got a win. 6 innings, 3 hits, and only 1 earned run.
Monument Park out in left center field. All those retired Yankee numbers, including a couple of number 8s. That would be Bill Dickey and Yogi Berra. And then you've got the plaques. Even more Yankees honored. And I don't know if you guys would go back far enough to remember when those monuments were actually out on the field of play.
I do recall, I don't go back that far, but you know, with my father, we grew up with a sense of history, and you always saw the films of Yankee Stadium in the old days, so I'm very much aware how far that center field was. Ridiculously far.
461 feet. I remember seeing Boog Powell hit one behind the monuments, and Boog, you know how slow he was. He wound up with a triple. Nobody rubbing Babe Ruth today. Tyler Clippard has his own way of getting set for the start of the game. As we check out today's Mets starting lineup, brought to you by your Lexus dealers. Jose Reyes, big night last night, on base 4 times in a row, 3 steals, a home run, drove in both runs. What can he do for an encore? Paul LaDuca DHing today to get Ramon Castro into the lineup. Ruben Gotay playing second base to give Jose Valentin a day off with a day game after a night game.
Well, the 22-year-old right-hander from Kentucky, Tyler Clippard, outstanding year in the minor leagues last year, led all Yankee pitchers in the minor leagues with 175 strikeouts. They wanted him to get a full year at Scranton Wilkes-Barre, but wasn't to be, as the Yankees had all those injuries. Clippard came up and gave them one of their most important starts of the year when he beat the Mets on that Sunday night.
We'll take a look at the Yankee defense, brought to you by your local Nissan dealers. It's the same position players in lineup as last night. Cano, Jeter, Rodriguez, Posada behind the plate, Matsui, Cabrera, Abreu.
Well, here's Reyes, who, by getting on base 4 times last night, raised his on-base percentage over 400. Now at 401, that's 5th in the National League. And 22-year-old Tyler Clippard gets it underway by missing high with a fastball. And remember Clippard's first at-bat in the big leagues facing Reyes, and how great he looked throwing his curveball and really establishing himself quickly in that game at Shea. A couple of fastballs, and he's behind 2-0.
Well, you're right, Gary. Everyone was impressed. The Yankees, of course, the Met faithful, impressed with the way he was able to include all those 3 pitches. That great fastball, curveball, and outstanding changeup.
Reyes taking all the way. And it's 3-0. Clippard's now making his 6th start. Got beat up by the Pirates his last time out. Didn't make it out of the 4th inning. And there's a strike, 3-1. The bleacher creatures doing their roll call.
They'll go through the entire lineup on the defense, and the players acknowledge them with a glove.
And Reyes takes ball 4, and he's aboard for the 5th straight time to begin this series.
Well, 38 walks for Jose on the season now. Came into the game with a 401 on-base percentage. He's just increased that, and that is what you want from a leadoff hitter. And boy, 4 years ago, never would have thunk it.
So here's Carlos Beltran hitting second in the order for the 2nd straight day. Went 1 for 4 last night. Just 7 for 43 since coming back from that little knee bruise from his collision with Rich Aurelian. We'll see how quickly Reyes gets a read on Clippard as Beltran takes ball 1. And that'll spur Posada to bring the ball back out to his rookie right-hander. The Yankees used 7 rookie starting pitchers in their first 42 games of the year because of all the injuries they had. Mets faced a couple of them in the first series at Shea. Darryl Rasner didn't last very long because he took a comebacker off his finger and had to leave in the 1st inning. Clippard, on the other hand, pitched that terrific game against the Mets, as you see displayed there. One to Beltran, hitting second for the 3rd time this year.
Don't be any sympathy for the Mets. Last year they traipsed out 13 different starting pitchers, including names like Ole Soler, Jeremy Gonzalez, etc., etc. Lima time, number 17.
And of course, the Yankees have their rotation pretty much back intact now. They'll throw Chen Ming Wang against the Mets tomorrow night. Mets have not seen Wang before. And Clippard's got a big, long arm action throwing the ball to first base. And you see how the Yankees had to mix and match early in the season because of injury. Remember Carl Pavano?
Yeah.
One to Beltran. Reyes with a healthy lead, not going, and Beltran pops it up. Cano and Cairo looking for it, and Cano makes the call. And that's the first out of the game. So 1 out and 1 on. And you know, Beltran has a lot of experience as a number 2 hitter, but one thing he's not going to do is wait around and let Reyes steal.
Yeah, I don't think he's that kind of hitter, right, Keith? As soon as he sees a fastball, he likes.
I think the majority of the time he likes to look. He's kind of confusing what his styles are. Sometimes he'll aggressively attack a first pitch, and then he'll go throughout a game and have 4 at-bats and take a strike throughout the entire game. So I think it's all about how he feels that particular day, how he feels about that particular pitcher.
Reyes leads as David Wright steps in, and Reyes gets back to the bag.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I always remember you, first at bat, always taking that first pitch, or for predominantly most of the time.
Yes, I would take a first strike.
David Wright now with a 16-game hitting streak after going 1 for 3 last night, as his average up to 287. This has been the one hot bat in that Mets lineup. And he takes the fastball off the plate, 1-0. David hit a home run against Clippard, the only run Clippard gave up in that game at Shea. In fact, before last night, David had homered in 5 straight interleague games, the last 2 against the Yankees and the 3 against Detroit. That streak came to an end last night. 1-1 to David.
A little changeup right there, and that's the one pitch that David, as a pitcher, I would be less inclined to throw David a changeup for strikes right now. He has said that he's been getting jams and he likes that. He's had a hard time getting the head of the bat through. His home runs both on the road were changeups. The first 2 home runs. Be very careful.
I think if I was giving a scouting report, if I was pitching David Wright, I'd try to rush him inside and down. Up he can fight it off. And if you went away, you got to go away out of the strike zone, because any fastball out over the plate, he just has the ability to hit it over the short wall in right field here at Yankee Stadium.
Well, David's had the tough start this year, and took him a while to find it. And he's been 90% of the time his approach has been going to the opposite field.
They play him straight away as Reyes gathers his lead. Not running, and Wright fouls away the fastball, and it's 1-2. David elevated to the number 3 spot in the order last night, and Willie's staying with it tonight. The Mets won the game last night, but they still struggled to get the big hit. They went 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position last night. Reyes has yet to attempt to run after stealing 3 bases last night. He's going now. It bounces to Posada, who makes a good throw, but well too late. And Reyes continues his running barrage. That's stolen base number 36.
Well, nice play by Posada on the backhand curveball in the dirt. He backhands it nicely and makes a good throw. But you know, the Mets are showing the Yankees their strengths here, and they can beat you more ways than one. Where I think the Yankees are more one-dimensional offensively. They've got this bludgeoning lineup.
Well, the Mets attempted 7 stolen bases last night. They stole 5, were caught twice. Their most in a game in 8 years. 2-2 to Wright. David takes the fastball inside, 3-2.
You know, guys, which begs the question, until they get the bats going, this should be Mets baseball for at least until Delgado maybe comes out of it a little bit, to try to push the envelope, try to manufacture some runs.
If I was managing this ball club, I would tell Reyes, Gomez, Beltran, if Beltran's healthy with his leg and his knee, to steal.
And you've got a Yankee pitching staff that doesn't hold runners that well. Posada's thrown out only 19% this year. 3-2 to Wright, hit hard toward the middle, past Jeter, base hit. Reyes around third, he'll score the first run of the game. David Wright runs his hitting streak to 17 straight games, and the Mets jump out to a 1-0 lead. So the stolen base helps produce a run. Wright drives in his 37th of the year.
Well, it was like a sinking changeup there, or a fastball that just didn't get in enough. Good hitting by David, and of course with the ball hit to the left of the shortstop, there's no hesitation on Jose Reyes' part on the bases, and with his speed, that's easily his 47th run of the season.
It's the 8th straight game in which the Mets have scored first. Of course, they lost 5 in a row during this stretch, but it's a pretty good formula overall if you want to win to get that first run. Well, here's Delgado, and he hits one in the air to left field. Matsui right there waiting for it. And he's got it for the second out. So after not making contact all last night, Delgado swinging at the first pitch, flies out to left.
How about Clemens last night? He was throwing in the low 90s the entire outing. It's just so impressive.
I mean, just he had an outstanding game, a game that usually you win with the way the Yankees have been hitting the baseball, but Oliver Perez was just better last night.
Paul Lo Duca DHing today, as he did a couple of games in Detroit last weekend. It's been a struggle for Lo Duca this last week, just 2 for his last 21. Mets with a run home. Reyes with a walk, a stolen base, and scoring on David Wright's base hit. David now with a 17-game hitting streak, and let's see if he tries to swipe one. And he's running on the first pitch to Lo Duca, and it was such a big jump with the curveball that Posada doesn't even bother throwing. And Wright is now 16 for 16 stealing bases this year.
Well, it is a good jump. He didn't get it. Really wasn't explosive. He kind of stutter stepped until he got going. But Clippard is so slow home, isn't he, Ronnie?
This is what happens is that, you know, not ready to pitch in the big leagues doesn't only mean just throwing your fastball, curveball, changeup. It's a feel for the game, the ability to stop the running game, field your position. If you're in a National League, lay a bunt down. You know, those are the things that you learn as you're coming up through the minor leagues. He had to be rushed.
Lo Duca took that curve for a strike, and now the fastball bounces. And, you know, the Mets have now come to bat in 10 innings in this series, and they've got 7 stolen bases.
And attempted 9 times. So it just tells you where they think the weakness for the Yankees with Clemens last night and Clippard today is that they have the ability to steal on Posada because they're really stealing on the pitchers.
Well, the Mets lead the major leagues in steals. They now have 83. This is their 66th game. Lo Duca tries to hold, but he went around on the fastball, and it's 1-2.
Well, we've talked about Paul being on top of the plate, real close to the plate. And that back foot is far back on the box as he can get.
So that back foot right in that close corner.
You know, it's interesting, after that pitch that he check swinged on and was fooled in that fastball inside, most pitchers will say to yourself, well, I can go back in there. He was totally fooled. But Lo Duca is a different hitter on 2 strikes with that ball inside than he is before that time. So he'll fight those pitches off.
One of the toughest hitters in the game to strike out. 1-2, the curveball just missed, and it's 2-2. Like Bruce Fleming was about to put up his right hand, but he declined.
Wow. Close. Let's see. Missed. Close. Can go either way. Pitcher wants that one. The hitter wants it.
2-2 to Lo Duca. He's back to the curveball and strikes him out. So Tyler Clippard strikes out Paul Lo Duca to end the inning, but the Mets fashion a run in the first inning thanks to Reyes' legs. 1-0 Mets. Tom Glavine's gone 4 starts without a win. He'll try and rectify that today against this Yankees starting lineup, brought to you by your Lexus dealers. Jorge Posada, second in the American League in batting. Johnny Damon back in the lineup. He was a late scratch last night because of a strained abdominal muscle, but Damon's going to try and give it a go today against Glavine.
You know, the Mets fans know he's going for 300, but more importantly, just needs a win for himself and the team. His last 4 starts, 3 losses and a no decision. And it's going to be interesting, a long relationship between Glavine and Fromming, which should really help Glavine as far as Fromming's one of those umpires that will work with Glavine. If he hits his spots consistently, he'll start to maybe open up that plate a little as the game goes along.
And Damon takes ball 2. Bruce Fleming, the crew chief, Mike Winters, James Hoy, and Mark Wegner are the base umpires. 2-0 to Damon, and there's a fastball for a strike. Damon last played on Wednesday. He said he first hurt that abdominal muscle on Tuesday in batting practice, and it's been hurting him more and more every day. So I think you want to get him in a position where he has to swing the bat, but Glavine's behind him 3-1.
Damon's one of those guys, even early in his career, always seems to have little aches and bruises. And
on 3-1, he takes a strike. Well, Johnny's only a few months older than Derek Jeter, but he seems a lot older because he's been so banged up. There's Jeter, who will turn 33 in a week. 3-2 pitch, slapped to short, and Reyes to his left. Damon not even taking a full cut there, and you really have to wonder how much that muscle is bothering him.
We'll take a look at the cut here. He hit it hard. Yeah, that's okay. I think he just stayed back there and let go with one hand. I've seen Damon do that a lot. Let go with that backhand. And the Nissan defense for the Mets, Delgado go tie at second base today. Reyes right. That's the anchor over there on the left side of the infield. Ramon Castro gets the start behind the plate. LaDuca's DHing. Gomez, Beltran, Green, which has pretty much been the starting outfield.
Here's Jeter. Lifetime .374 against the Mets. And he takes high from Glavine. Derek's having a sterling year, 6th in the American League in batting with that .335 average. Riding a 10-game hitting streak right now. And he swings over the changeup. A good one by Glavine, 1-1. Well, the field has met both Jeter and Reyes.
Well, I can tell you what, 99.9% of the players that I played against never wanted to go in with a clean jersey when the game was over.
Why bother washing it at all then?
There's David also. Pigpen.
Anytime you steal a base now, given the way guys slide, you're going to have that dirty uniform. Missing inside again. Glavine's behind 3-1.
Well, Tom's clearly coming off his worst outing of the season. His last time out in Detroit, his ERA just went from 3.36 to 4.15, almost a full run in that outing when he gave up 9 runs against the Tigers.
Hit to right field. Long run over toward the corner for Green. He won't get there, and it hops up against the wall. Jeter heads for second, and he's in standing with a 1-out double. Jeter's now got an 11-game hitting streak. And Glavine can't live falling behind hitters 3-1.
Well, they got a ball down, but a little too much of the plate. And Jeter going the opposite field. It was set up away, as you should a right-hand hitter off of Glavine. And that's always been a strength of Derek. When he first came up and didn't pull, he primarily was an opposite field hitter.
The pitch against Derek early in his career, you're able to knock the bats out of his hands inside no longer. And when he does hit that ball to right, kind of slices it to right. You know, he doesn't power it to right, so it always goes towards the line, makes it tough for the right fielder.
Here's Bobby Abreu. Glavine has struggled against left-hand hitters this year. You know, the last couple of years his numbers against lefties were very good, but this year he has really taken a tumble against left-hand hitters. And he falls behind Abreu 2-0. And that'll draw a meeting with Castro.
You know, the thing that he has let go of, that he's done the last couple of years, and I don't know why, is against left-handers, that little get-me-over curveball. It's a good pitch. It's a pitch you can get ahead of, and for left-handers, as you see the numbers, for left-handers, if you're a left-handed hitter and the first at bat throws a little get-me-over curveball, you're taught not to swing at that. You give that to the pitcher.
2-0 to Abreu, who had a 13-game hitting streak stopped last night as he takes a strike. You know what I think it is? I think the last several times that Glavine's thrown his curveball, he's gotten hit hard with.
Yes, he has. You're right, Gary. And he gave up a couple home runs, I believe, with it. So he's a little bit leery. But there were right-handers that hit the home run off of him.
Except for the one that Robinson Cano hit against him at Shea. And it's really since then that he really hasn't been throwing that curve.
Well, then, sometimes as a pitcher, you have to tip your cap and double up on the curveball because no one expects him to double up on it.
Well, he's faced 3 hitters, and he's behind all of them 3-1. Abreu does not go out of the strike zone much. And he takes a strike, 3-2. Of late, when Glavine's gotten himself in trouble, it's been hard for him to get out of it. Look at that. With runners on base the last 3 starts, whopping .371 average.
There's already a lot of moaning and groaning by the Yankee hitters, the strike zone that Glavine's getting.
Castro fakes inside, moves away, and Glavine misses high, and Abreu's on with a walk.
Well, I was talking before about Glavine, his last 4 decisions, 3 losses, no decision. Mostly with LaDuca. Sometimes it's good to get another catcher back there. I know personally when you're struggling with one catcher, sometimes you get a new guy in there. He calls the game a little differently, and sometimes you can have some success because it gets you out of that same rut you've been in start after start.
LaDuca DHing today. So a big early moment for Glavine. He's got a 1-0 lead, and A-Rod comes up with 2 men on. Alex went 0 for 4 last night, but he's been hot. And Glavine misses and wanted that call and stares in at Fleming after not getting it.
Tom, throughout his career, has always got that borderline outside pitch against the right-handers.
One and 0 to A-Rod, and he gets the inside corner, 1-1. You ever try hitting with sunglasses on?
No.
Look at the difference with A-Rod if he gets a first pitch strike or a first pitch ball. That's the widest gap of any hitter in the American League. Down to third, might be 2. Right to second for 1. Go tie relay, not in time. Very close play at first, but Mike Witters called him safe, and that keeps the inning alive.
Well, Glavine doubles up inside and jams A-Rod. Not a real strong throw from right on a close play, and he might have been a double play. But good hustle by A-Rod. But that was very close.
Ball handcuffed right just a little bit, didn't it?
Any chance on that play to run to third and tag? No, the play is around the horn, right?
Yeah, it's around the horn.
Yeah.
He was too far from the bag. I think the ball came up. It was a good exchange, but I think he had the ball in the palm of his hand.
Yeah.
So now Posada gets an opportunity. First and third, 2 out. And he loops one to center field, but right there is Beltran waiting, side retired. So Glavine works around a double and a walk. Didn't get the double play, but gets a first pitch fly ball, and he's got a 1-0 lead. Met fans made their presence felt here at Yankee Stadium last night in the Mets' 2-0 win, and the Mets out to a good start tonight. Today's telecast available in high definition and presented by the Sharp Aquos. Bring the details home. Sean Green leads off the second inning. Sean went 0 for 4 last night. Batting average still over 300 for the year. And Tyler Clippard starts the second inning with a fastball, 1-0. Greens is coming back from the disabled list, 3 for 16 in 4 games. And a couple of hits his first game in LA, but has struggled since. Batted second during that series in Los Angeles.
Stole the base.
First game back.
First pitch. Element of surprise, and he fouled that ball straight down and missed his foot. He's got that shin guard covering the area where he got hurt, but you still don't want to take another shot there. On 2-1, Sean takes a fastball just off the plate, and it's 3-1.
There's Jorge Posada turning back. I don't know if you noticed that. Turning back, whatever. See this? You don't turn all the way around because you don't want to let the crowd know you're arguing with the umpire, but that's letting Bruce Fromming know that that's a strike.
And that might have been a ball, but Green swung at it 3-2. It's fascinating following the strike zone so far in this game.
Well, that's definitely not a strike right there. Sean Green helping out Clippard, and that's unusual for Sean. He's got a good eye at the plate.
Old foul. Well, it's kind of reminiscent of that Delgado at bat last night, where he got to 3-1 and he swung at a splitter at his shoe tops from Clemens.
You can understand when if it's a breaking ball, a hard, or a split finger, but when you do it on a fastball, then it's more glaring.
3-2, got him with the changeup, and Clippard has his second strikeout. So 1 away.
Well, you can really tell in his changeup what he does. He drops his arm a little and he follows through towards the third base side.
Yes.
Every time he throws a changeup, he follows through the third base side. Curveball, fastball, follows through to the first base side.
Now,
Very glaring.
Can you pick that up as a hitter?
Yes, you can. You can particularly, not so much the follow through, because that's after the pitch has already left his hand, but certainly the change of the where the ball leaves the pitcher's hand. If any time he throws it more over the top, his curve and his fastball over the top, his changeup becomes a little bit off center. Boy, you go right back in that dugout and you tell your entire lineup.
1-0 to Castro, and he takes fastball for a strike.
And you're so right, Keith. So when he's throwing his fastball curveball, that's like a traditional right-handed pitcher, fall through the right side. When he throws his changeup, it's more like Joe Smith, where he goes towards the third base side.
Fastball for a strike, 1-2. Do you think players now are as observant about stuff like that than, say, they were 20 years ago?
I think they pay attention. I think all that computer stuff, too, they watch, get their eyes crossed before they go out and have to play. Look at the screen.
Hit the other way down the right field side, but it slices foul.
Well, watch clip. It's pretty obvious, guys. All right. First pitch, changeup, goes all the way to the right side and dropped his arm angle. And then when he goes with a fastball curveball, he falls through the first base side, because that's how it takes, because he's more on top of the ball.
He's on top of the pitch. Most important is point of release. And he's really almost got a 12-6 curveball. And so it's like a drop. So he really has to get on top and come over the top. The changeup's more of a sinker.
2-2 to Castro, dribbled off his foot, a foul ball. So you would think that if you guys can see that so readily, obviously Ron Guidry can see it too. How do you work with a guy like that to get him not to give that away?
There's the problem. The problem is that Tyler Clippard should be in AAA for an entire season, working with our pitching coach to remedy that situation. Problem is he's got to learn on the job because of all the injuries. So how does Guidry do it?
2-2 to Castro. The curveball popped foul, and that'll go out of play.
I would say that it would be a slow process, Gary, because you don't want to change him completely, because then what you end up is a pitcher who can't throw strikes and has a chance to hurt his arm. So really you have to live with what he has right now, and then over time maybe make some small adjustments, so by the time he has instructional league, maybe he can work with that.
Well, I think the most important thing is, Gary, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ron, would be you'd want all three of his pitches coming out of his hand at the same spot. And if that means he has to throw a straight change and no longer a sinking change, so be it. I faced a lot of guys with great changeups that were straight.
Would it make you want to encourage him to back off the changeup and not throw it as much now until he can refine it? Castro lifts him to center field, and Damon's right there.
I would say that would be great if you could do it. The problem is that the young Clippard so far doesn't have enough weapons. So he cannot just get by with that fastball and curveball. Changeup is one of his better pitches. So for now, go with what you got, because all three he needs to be successful at this point. And I like his makeup. He's a real smart kid. He works harder than anyone on that young guy in the Yankee staff. I've heard from the Yankee officials. So he's going to get better.
Here's Ruben Gotay, starting his 9th game for the Mets, and he's done a very nice job in limited duty. Takes the curveball for ball 1.
He has been a real pleasant surprise for the Mets. Excuse me. He had a very fine spring, and I think that's where he kind of opened people's eyes down there. And since he's been called up, he's been a terrific spot player.
There's a little bit of pop. He's hit 2 home runs. Most of his at-bats have come from this side of the plate. He's a switch hitter. Two and one to Gotay.
It makes the point, too. Hall of Famer Don Sutton, when he first came up. It's funny, I was talking with Mike Shannon when we were in St. Louis in the opening series, and hopefully I can get this in before the inning's out.
Driven to deep right field. Back goes Abreu, back at the wall, and it's out of here. Ruben Gotay with his 3rd home run of the season. And the Mets now have a 2-0 lead. There's that pop.
Snap, crackle, and pop.
Well, this is a stadium where if you pull it, that's a fastball up and out over the plate. And this is the best ballpark, power hitting ballpark for a left-hand hitter in the game. The jet stream out to right field, the short porch. If you pull the ball here, 314 down the line.
You know, and part of that is a result that Clippard is not getting that inside fastball. So as a pitcher, what do you say to yourself? Well, I'm not going to get it on the corner. I got to shuffle it over a couple inches, make sure I get a strike. You end up with a ball down the middle.
Gomez swings at the curveball, dribbles it. They're going to have to let that roll, and it goes foul.
I think in this series right now, and this is really only into the second game, we're seeing the differences in the two ball clubs. Obviously, the speed of the Mets, but we're also seeing the weakness in the Yankees is still their pitching. I mean, this club wins with their hitting.
Maybe the Mets just have some good mojo because Willie's a former second baseman. How about the production they've gotten from their second basemen the last couple of years? Valentin comes in and does a great job last year, easily with some big hits early in the year, and now Gotai.
Look how Matsui's hitting that.
That's right.
Just had to shuffle him off to Colorado. Gomez swings at the curve and lifts it to right, and Abreu is there. And that ends the inning, but Gotai puts a charge into one for the Mets and gives the Mets a 2-0 lead. Third home run for Gotai. He likes playing at Yankee Stadium. 2-0 Mets. Well, here's your Mets upcoming schedule, brought to you by a Hummer like nothing else. Mets have one more game here at Yankee Stadium tomorrow night. We'll be back with you on SNY Monday night at Shea as the Twins come in to start a 10-game homestand. 3 with Minnesota, 3 with Oakland, and 4 with St. Louis. Hideki Matsui leads off the home second and flares one foul. Matsui 0 for 3 last night. But he's done well against Glavine, as you see there. 6 hits in 10 career at-bats.
It'll be interesting to see how Glavine responds here. He's had some leads in the last couple of starts, and he's had the inability to throw up a zero. They've let the opposing team come right back in the game.
Curveball, and that's ripped into right field. So again, Glavine experiments with that curveball and has a ball hit hard against him on it.
Well, this is a hanger, big time right here. He's lucky that he took enough off where Matsui's a little out in front, and he's lucky. Look at the level swing. Just got it away enough.
Well, Glavine, once he gets through the first 2, generally has done well. But now the Yankees have a leadoff base runner in the second, and here's Robinson Cano, who hit the home run against Glavine at Shea. Glavine pitched pretty well in that game. He allowed a lot of hits, but he was able to limit damage and give up just 3 runs in 6 innings. And the Mets wound up winning that game 10-7, a kind of a wild Saturday afternoon. And here he is on another Saturday afternoon, this time in the Bronx.
Well, you see Cano down in the lineup. Last year hit up in the second spot a lot because he hit 342. This year hitting 270. You saw the on-base percentage, 309. He's only walked 12 times. And he's a free swinger. Thou shalt not pass. Doesn't get on base. He's basically, his on-base percentage is going to be what his batting average is, which doesn't make him a strong candidate for the top 1 or 2 positions in the order.
And doesn't this so often happen? Second time around, a kid who hits for a high average but doesn't take a lot of pitches, and pitchers make that adjustment.
They do, and there's also, we don't hear it anymore, the old sophomore jinx.
Yeah,
I firmly believe in it. I think there is a sophomore jinx.
You really think it's a jinx rather than just the fact that people go to school on you?
They go to school on you, and I think that your rookie year, nothing's expected of you. Nothing's expected of Robinson Cano last year. He had 342. He had a great year. And then you come back with expectations. I think you put a little pressure on yourself. That coupled with the fact that pitchers now have a feel for you and know what you like and what you don't like.
Glavine finds himself behind in the count again, 3-1. 4th time in 7 batters he's gone to a 3-1 count. His percentage of strikes has really dropped this year. There's a strike, 3-2.
When I see that ERA, first 2 innings, almost 6, better after that. And he won't admit it, but to me, he's always been a blue-collar guy that takes the ball. He's all about giving his team the best chance to win, and now all of a sudden it's become a personal journey accolade for Tom Glavine.
He walks Cano, and the Yankees have the first 2 men on in the second.
You know, when you hear about it over and over and over again, when you get in 296, you're on your way to 300. He's never been that kind of guy. Now, has he amassed all these great statistics? Of course he has. But I think that's just not his nature as a pitcher. And I think that what I'm trying to say is that early in the game, there's some anxiousness that he usually doesn't have.
Well, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because I don't think that, say, last year or the year before, Tom would have made any bones about the fact that he wanted to get to 300, and it's one of the reasons why he's still playing is to get to 300. But now, as he gets closer, that's all the talk has been, and it's getting to him a little bit.
Yeah.
Not that he's feeling the pressure necessarily, but he's tired of hearing about it.
How long did it take Gary Carter to get 300? That 300 home run, Ronnie.
It was painful for that locker room.
Melky Cabrera trying to sacrifice and fouls it off.
Very interesting here. The American League, a slugging league, and Joe Torre shows how important that he feels this second game is in this series. His team hot, won 9 in a row, now lost their first game.
You got a fast runner at the plate. You got Miguel Cairo on deck. I don't think I'd be bunting.
Interesting. You might take it off now. David Wright's way in.
Still up there bunting, and gets down a good one. Glavine will go to first. So the sacrifice successful, and we'll see how it plays out. But you know, in some American League lineups, you know, we saw Detroit with Brandon Inge hitting number 9. You could see it, but with Miguel Cairo hitting number 9, not exactly a big threat in that spot, but they're bunting with the 8-hitter anyway.
Very un-American League-like.
Well, I'll tell you right now, if I was pitching, I would say thank you very much. Now I have to get Cairo and Damon out, and if I do, I'm out of the inning.
Well, the Mets are going to play it in at the corners. Delgado's kind of in nowhere's land there. The only chance he's going to have to throw anybody out at the plate is a bullet, so he's better off just playing deeper or else coming in.
Grounded to short, that'll score a run. Reyes will make the play to first. Yankees get a run on the board as Matsui comes home. Cairo drives in his 3rd run of the year with the ground out.
You see, I don't have a problem with the bunt there, Gary. I just don't have a problem at all, because it gets you on the board here. You're down 2-0.
I guess it has something to do with
it's early in the game. You got a good pitcher out there in Glavine.
And I guess it has something to do with who's pitching, too, because Glavine, chances are he's not going to strike out Cairo. He's not a pitcher who can really strike out people when he has to.
Here's Johnny Damon with a runner at 3rd. Well, let's look at it from the other side, though. You're Joe Torre. You've got Tyler Clippard pitching today. Yeah. You expecting this to be a 3-2 game?
I just think that I agree with what Keith said as far as he thinks he just wants to get the Yankees on the board. But I hear what you're saying, Gary. This game doesn't feel like a 2-0 game like last night's game.
1-1 to Damon.
There's a young Clippard.
All very interesting choices, though, aren't they?
That's the beauty of the game.
Yeah,
you can sit up there, and if they don't blast the music in between, you can talk to your friend down there in the box seats and go, how about that? Joe's button here. And it's, you can say it calmly instead of having to scream over disco music or rap. Oh, here's Chris Cotter.
You don't know any rap.
Chris is back.
He's just watching us. So watch your P's and Q's.
How are you, Chris?
He's reporting. 1-2 to Damon. Off the outside corner, it's 2-2. Damon bounced out to short his first time up. Full count on Damon. Glavine's already walked 2 first time through the batting order, and it's a big batter right here with Jeter to follow. His gaudy numbers with runners in scoring position.
You have to go after Damon here.
On 3-2, Damon lightens one the other way, but Gomez was playing shallow, but he plays it on a hop, and the Yankees tie the game. Well, when that ball went up, he figured Gomez had a chance to catch it, but he opted to play it safe. It's an RBI single for Damon, and the Yankees have gotten even.
Well, the sacrifice bunt now pays off for Joe. And look at Gomez out there, and that's not deep. He just got a bad break on a bad read here, and opted to play the short hop. And you know what? It happens. You don't get the proper jump right from the get-go.
Well, that's one thing we've seen with Gomez. He's got great speed, but his initial reactions have not always been great on balls hit in his area. So the Yankees get the 2 runs back. Here's Jeter with Damon at first and 2 out. And he takes a strike.
But you know, there's nothing worse than an outfielder who doesn't get the jump initially and then starts to come in, and the next thing you know, the ball's at the left field wall. If you don't initially get the jump, conservative is better than letting both runs score.
Jeter double to right his first time up.
I've never seen numbers like that, by the way.
I have not, and I know we're almost, we're not that far from the All-Star break. I mean, look at that. That with 2 outs, over almost 600.
He's got runners on and 2 out now. That's 500. Extraordinary. He covers a lot of at-bats, too.
And I think one of the reasons he has those great numbers is that he knows situations. He has great instinct for what the pitcher's trying to do to him. He's not going to go out of the strike zone. He's looking, he has great ability to center a pitch he wants, and if it's not there, let it go.
2-1 to Jeter. And a good changeup by Glavine had him lunging. 2-2. Derek even does the housekeeping.
How's the studio, Chris? You enjoying your studio time now? We miss you.
How's he going to answer? He doesn't have a microphone.
He said good days and bad days.
Thanks for translating. 2-2 to Jeter. Up to the side on a full count. And Glavine throwing a ton of pitches early in this game.
Here we are.
There's our booth, and there's Cotter hanging out, sitting on the stairs. Nice seat, Chris. Glad we could get you in.
You almost get the telestrate, Chris, there.
Damon runs. Jeter pulls it over the bag, but just fouled. Glavine's about to throw his 45th pitch, working in the second inning.
That's been another problem. Just so many pitches early in the game that you're really trying just to get them through 5 or 6 innings.
And that ball strike ratio is becoming fairly reminiscent. Just not throwing as many strikes. Damon runs. 3-2 pitch lifted along the right field line. Green getting over, glances toward the wall, makes sure he has enough room, and he does, to end the inning. Yankees get even with a couple of runs. Mets will have the top of the batting order coming up in the third. Reyes, Beltran, and Wright to go up against Clippard. When you can't be home to watch your Mets on SNY or CW11, check out MLB.tv. Watch every out-of-market Mets game of the season live. Catch those you missed on demand, or listen to every radio broadcast. Sign up today. Visit Mets.com, where baseball is always on. Reyes walked, stole a base, scored a run in the first inning. 5 plate appearances, 5 times on base in this series. Good changeup by Clippard, and it's 1-1.
Very interesting. The first pitch selection to Reyes was a curveball, the same pitch that he hit off Clemens' first pitch for a home run.
Another changeup, and it's 2-1.
I have just got to believe, Ronnie, with him following through to that third base line, like you said, he's just really giving away that changeup.
2-1 to Reyes, and he comes upstairs with the fastball. Last night, Jose Reyes played his 500th career game, and just to play around with it, these are the numbers that Reyes has through 500 games and that Jeter had in his first 500 games. Pretty close. And Reyes draws another walk. 39 walks now that Reyes has drawn this season, and Clippard puts himself in immediate jeopardy again.
Center fielder,
It's just amazing the strides that Reyes has taken in terms of his patience.
And it's all experience.
What did he draw? 54 walks? That number sticks in my mind from last year. 53. And he's already got 39, and we're not even halfway through the season. Not even close to halfway.
You've got a mind like a steel trap, Gary.
It does.
Except that I was wrong. Here's Beltran, and he takes a changeup for a strike. Beltran popped up to the second baseman his first time up. And that's the thing that impresses you about Reyes, is that he's just getting better. Doesn't hit for the power that he did last year, despite the home run last night. Pitch out, but Reyes isn't going, and it's 1-1.
Ronnie, you remember that, was it the Cardinals that held runners on like this to try to mess up their
well, the Mets with Bobby Valentine used to do it also.
Pirates with Jimmy Leland did it first.
Yes.
In the early 90s with all those lefties they had. And that's the thing, is that Valentine only did it with lefties on the mound. He didn't do it with right-handers.
It really shouldn't have, and you watch Beltran here chasing a high fastball out of the strike zone. It shouldn't have any effect on Jose. Whatever Cairo's doing, that's all a bunch of baloney.
Yeah.
Just watch the pitcher. And just, if he takes his foot off the rubber, then you get back. If he lifts that front foot, you're gone.
He's going, and a pitch that Posada has no chance to throw, and Reyes has his 5th stolen base in this series. 37 for the year.
Well, plan B didn't work. Watch this, John.
Plan C is going to be a harness, I think.
Plan C has got to be really basically plan A. Plan A. Don't let him get on base.
Yeah.
So the go-ahead run in scoring position, and Beltran will move him over with that ground ball. Cano throws out Beltran, but a productive out for Carlos, getting Reyes over to third. This is your first run of the game, brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. Reyes the steal, and Reyes the run, with David Wright doing the honors, driving him home. And that put the Mets up 1-0. Now it's a 2-2 game in the third, and Reyes is at third with 1 out, and Wright will try and get him home again.
Some nice fundamental baseball by both ball clubs here early in this game.
Wright singled, drove in a run, and stole a base himself. So the Mets now with 8 steals in the first 12 innings of this series. And the changeup in for a strike. 22-year-old Tyler Clippard, making just his 6th major league start, made his debut against the Mets on the 20th of May. Won that game, and he's won 2 more since. Posada with a nice block to save a run, and it's 1-1.
He caught that on the hand too. What a great block. Watch his right hand or forearm.
Oh, bicep.
Bicep. You could hear it up here.
Nice block. Nice play.
You know, Jorge gives a lot of credit to Tony Pena the last 2 years, first base coach of the Yankees, and helping him develop defensively as a catcher, how to take care of yourself over the long season as a catcher.
There was a time when he was considered a subpar defensive catcher. Came up as an infielder, was taught to catch in the minors, and he was more a hitter than a catcher. Wright pops it up in foul ground. Cairo over for a look, but it's in the crowd. But Posada really has improved.
Well, you know how he improved? And for all you kids out there, it just didn't happen by turning on a light switch. He did the work, the hard work, to better himself on both ends of the field. That's dedication, trying to be the best that you can be to help your ball club.
1-2 to Wright. David's got to put the ball in play here. The infield back, with the exception of Cairo at first. Trying to get Reyes home. Pops it up. In comes the right fielder Abreu. Reyes tagging on the short fly ball. He will not try it as Abreu throws it on the fly to the plate. Wise decision by Reyes.
Well, Abreu here, the shallow, it's not a big center right field, obviously.
Yeah,
and that was in shallow right field. So Reyes, with his speed, had no shot.
he was throwing that from Little League distance right
He
there.
almost threw it over the catcher's head almost.
Posada wasn't even sure that Reyes wasn't coming.
That's where your pitcher backing up can let you know. You see Reyes starting up.
Dash down the line, and a balk is called, and Reyes has done it again. Shades of Armando Benitez. Tyler Clippard committing the balk, and the Mets take a 3-2 lead. Joe Torre will come out to argue it, but you're not allowed to argue a balk. He should be ejected if he starts to argue a balk.
Bruce Fleming's explaining why he called it. And the Mets have stolen a run.
Well, Reyes starts off third. You can't see that, but watch Clippard.
Oh, I see what they said. He called timeout. He was trying to call time.
Who was trying to call time?
Delgado. But he didn't get the timeout. Let's see if he got the timeout from Froman. Watch. He's asking for time, but he didn't get the time.
It wasn't granted.
Right. That's what Posada's arguing.
Just because he asked for time doesn't mean there was time granted.
Correct.
So it's 3-2 Mets. And Delgado pulls one foul. Well, Delgado struggled with runners in scoring position, but he just helped driving a run, even though he won't get credit.
Well, that's just a, dare we say, veteran Jose Reyes taking advantage of a rookie. 24-year-old veteran.
Well, that's twice he's done it this year. He did it to Benitez, and now he's done it to Clippard. Good changeup by Clippard, and it's 0-2 to Delgado. He did it a few years ago to Brett Myers in Philadelphia. Was that last year or the year before? But he's got this move down pat.
Well,
and he knew it.
That makes you feel stupid if you're a pitcher out there. That's just something that you do. If you're a pitcher, your whole life you know to step off. If someone pulls out, you've got to step off. He just fell asleep there, and it's embarrassing.
Because what happens is the third baseman and the catcher will say, step off, and as soon as you hear that, you just casually move that back foot back there. But sometimes with Reyes, he has so much speed, you're thinking, is he going?
All it takes is one little flinch.
You see him standing here. Just watch his right side. See that flinch? Before he stepped off with the ball in his hand, if you just watch, there was a little shimmer of his hand. That's all you need.
By the way, Bob Davidson is nowhere to be found. Delgado pops it up. Jeter shading his eyes. And the inning is over. But Reyes steals a run, a walk, a stolen base, an advancing ground out, and a balk. Reyes scores without a hit. 3-2 Mets. Well, the Mets had a 2-0 lead. The Yankees tied it. Now the Mets have regained the lead thanks to a balk by Tyler Clippard, who doesn't look very happy with himself as he heads off toward the Yankee clubhouse between innings.
We're seeing it happen more and more, aren't we, Gary? That kids are pressed into duty before they have enough innings down in the minor leagues to learn all this stuff. And, you know, it's not Clippard's fault as Abreu attempts a bunt.
You don't see that very often. Abreu trying to bunt his way on. Well, the Mets have stolen 3 bases on Clippard and throw in the balk. And the Mets have been able to use their speed in an influential way again today. Glavine misses inside, and it's 1-1. Abreu walked his first time up. The other way to left, and that's a base hit. Gomez plays it on the hop. And for the second straight inning, the Yankees have the leadoff man on.
Well, the left-hander's approach for the Yankees here has been to take Glavine the other way, much like the right-hander's approach. And Tom likes to live on the outside corner. And for all you kids out there, a little instruction here, and what better guy to follow? Look at Jeter shading his eyes with his glove on that high pop-up. You got to see the shadow on his face. He's just peeking through over his glove But the gloves blocking the sun, the little things. He didn't have his sunglasses on, which is unusual.
He's played enough games here. He probably knows what the sun is every hour, every day of every start.
Depending on the time of year.
That's right.
I always wore the flip-flops. I always didn't like the glare. I just made sure that I had the flips on every day game.
A-Rod fouls it back.
Who are you kidding? You just liked how you looked in them with the strap.
You always, when you were a kid, you always liked the pros when they had the flip-flops.
Right. They're out of fashion now. Guys don't wear them anymore.
The flip downs are awesome.
Except they require work.
There's the upside downs.
No, that's just I still don't get it.
I don't get it neither.
You guys got to come into the new century.
Rookie,
it's style.
too.
It's style. Come on.
The style is fine, but they don't really help you see the ball in the sun, do they?
Right.
Haven't been in the big leagues a month and you're wearing your upside downs.
Oh, right side up since you've been in 5-6 years.
I guess the eye black's enough.
There you go. Is he duck hunting with those? Are those blue blockers?
Oh yeah, remember those? Hope he got paid a lot of money for that. I really do.
It was nice for the time.
If you don't remember, Keith was the king of the infomercial.
You know who loved those blue blockers? Mel Stoudemire. Mel was a duck hunter. He said they were the best duck hunting glasses he ever had.
Could you get me some?
Oh, I've flooded that now. They're all over the market.
Do they even make them anymore?
I flooded the market because it was a very successful advertising campaign.
2 in 1 day, Rod.
And he hits one in the air to deep left field. Gomez looks up, and that ball is out of here. Alex Rodriguez with his 26th home run of the year. And just like that, the Yankees go in front 4-3. We're still 3 weeks from the All-Star break, and A-Rod now has 70 runs batted in.
He's going to be in the 90s, that's for sure. I'll be interested to see if he gets to 100. Has anybody ever gotten to 100 RBIs at the All-Star break? Fastball in, and boy, did he turn on it. This is way out of here.
That's in the Mets bullpen right there.
Well beyond those retired numbers, Tyler Clippard likes it. He now has a lead. And Jorge Posada takes ball 1.
I always thought Juan Gonzalez, the Texas left fielder, got to 101 All-Star break. I'm not sure.
I think Hank Greenberg had 100 1 year before the break. Posada lifts one to center. This one is playable for Beltran. And there's one away. Well, A-Rod just crushed this pitch.
MVP first half.
If you hit the ball past that netting, you've hit it a long way.
Yeah, as a pitcher who's given up many of those home runs, you don't even have to look. You just look into Bruce Rumming. Give me a new one, Bruce.
I used to like to watch him.
You used to like to watch
when you gave him up.
Really?
No, I always watched him.
That's very disturbing to me.
You're taking some perverse pleasure in his pain?
Oh, yes.
The most disturbing, though, with Keith, his friend Sarge. Whenever Sarge would get a line drive, ringing line drive at Wrigley, I look over at Keith and Sarge gabbing, big smiles.
It's that hitter's conference over at first base.
Sarge and I were very good friends, still are. Of course, he's got the job with the Phillies now on the Dirt TV.
Gary Matthews. Of course, his son's got all the money now.
Where did Mike Lupica go? He was just right here behind us.
He just left. He's got to work.
It's camera shy.
Oh, he's over there. Okay.
2 and 1 the count to Matsui. Matsui had a base hit his first time up. So Glavin's woes continue. Tommy, after giving up 9 earned runs in his last start, only the second time in his career he had done that, hoping for a bounce back today, but he's had 2 leads and given them both up. Matsui gets under one to right center, and Beltran again has just enough room. 2 warning track fly balls in a row after the A-Rod home run, and there are 2 out.
Well, Tommy's been around so long, 295 wins. He knows when things and he's doing everything you're not supposed to do as far as Glavin's concerned. He's getting behind in the count. His pitches are up in the strike zone. He's had a hard time even really changing speeds. Everything seems about the same speed, his fastball and his changeup. So, end result is 4 points in the first 3 innings.
Robinson Cano, the batter. But you know, first pitch strikes have been a concern for Glavine really all year as you look at Tommy's career numbers. I mean, he's among the lowest in the National League throwing first pitch strikes as Cano grounds one out to go tie. And he throws them out to end the inning. But A-Rod's home run has given the Yankees their first lead of the afternoon, his 26th of the year, and he got all of it. A 2-run shot. The Yankees go up 4-3. Paul LaDuca will lead off in the 4th against Tyler Clippard. LaDuca struck out his first time up, and he hits this one to center field. Easy for Melky Cabrera. And there's one away.
The right fielder, Sean Green.
The unmistakable sound of Bob Shepard, longtime public address announcer here at Yankee Stadium. Kevin Burkhardt got a chance to catch up with him. Kevin?
You know, long time is an understatement, Gary. This is his 57th year, and it really is one of the true treats of coming to watch a game at Yankee Stadium. His golden tones are just simply outstanding. They really are. And I talked to Jerry Jeter about it. He told me when he came up in '95, the Yankees were on the road. When they came home, when he first stepped into the batter's box and heard Shepard, he said he felt like he had arrived. And I was lucky enough to catch up with Shepard yesterday, have a little chat with him about his career. Certainly a lot of memories in that.
Well, Mr. Shepard, you're 57 for you on this job. Wasn't this supposed to be a part-time job?
It's still a part-time job. I only have another year to go, this one, on my 2-year contract. So it's been a year, a 2-year, a 3-year deal. Who knows? I'm going to apply, I think, at the end of the season for a 10-year contract.
Do you think that they have a space for you in the new park? I would hope so.
They're setting up a whole suite of rooms for me at the new stadium.
When you look back, what do you think? What do you think your contribution has been to Yankee baseball?
Calling it clearly, concisely, correctly.
What do you love about the game?
I love the fact that I never lose an interest after 57 years. Somehow or other, when they go away, I can relax. But when they come back, I begin to tighten up and wonder how they're going to be doing tonight, this afternoon.
Guys, it's certainly, the guy seems like he never makes a mistake. It's incredible. He told me his favorite memory, Don Larson's perfect game in the World Series. Why? Because it was so improbable. But I'll tell you what, 57 years here, that's an awful lot of memories. Guys, back up to you.
Not only the longevity, not only the voice, but the nicest man you've ever met. He's 90 years plus. He's got the firmest handshake you'd ever like. And yesterday, you know, we have some very dangerous stairs in our booth. They're almost vertical. And he came bounding down those stairs to say hello yesterday and went bounding right back up them. It's stunning, the vitality that the man has.
Well, you see Guidry going out now to talk to Clippard. Over 4,400 games, unprecedented 119 postseason games, and he has a great quote. He always says that most people go to work, I go to a game. And I think all of us here, us three, echo that statement.
Yeah. And for years, he also was the voice of the New York Giants. He just gave that up a couple of years ago. Said the traffic from the Meadowlands to his home on Long Island just got a little too much to bear. But Bob Shepard is as great a treasure as the game of baseball has.
Well, let me tell you, the first time I ever pitched in Yankee Stadium for the Oakland Athletics, threw my warm-up tosses, and I stepped off the mound, and I made sure that I heard him introduce, and pitching for the Oakland Athletics, Ron Darling. And I'll tell you, never forget it.
2-0 to Castro with Green aboard with a walk. And Castro hits one in the air to deep left. Does it have enough? Matsui back at the wall, and it's out of here. Ramon
Castro gives the Mets the lead with his 4th home run of the year, a 2-run shot, and it's 5-4 Mets. And back and forth we go.
Well, Castro's 4th home run, fastball right down the pipe and down, but too much plate, and that's off the netting.
Here's Ruben Gotay, who homered his first time up, and he takes a strike.
Well, the young pitcher, of course, doesn't know, and that's right after. How many times do you see it? Pitching coach comes out, next pitch, 2-run bomb.
Well, the 5 runs, 3 that have scored have been off the walk, have been walks. Yeah. So that's walks kill.
1-1 to Gotay. Good changeup, and it's 1-2. Luis Vizcaino, who pitches every day for the Yankees, pitched last night. He's up again long in the bullpen today.
He's like Pedro Borbon, a rubber arm.
Mike Marshall.
Line drive, right center, base hit for Gotay. Cabrera gets over, cuts it off. Gotay will hold at first base.
Might have had an idea about trying for 2, but Cabrera has a good arm, and so Gotay settles for a single, his 2nd hit of the game.
Well, good hitting right here. Another fastball down too much of the plate. Right down the pipe. And nice hitting right here. Nice play by Cabrera. And I think if Cabrera was a right-hand thrower, Gotay would have gone for 2.
And you'll see Gotay as he rounded first. He had to look down for the bag. He never did get that really good turn at first, and that stopped him from going also.
And what about the difference for the Yankees having Cabrera in center versus Damon? If it's Damon, you're going to run on that play automatically.
Might be a triple. It's at least a double.
Here's Gomez, who flied to right his first time. And he takes the curve for a strike.
Well, it's just because Damon has the injuries. He just can't not get over there as quickly. You know, he would have taken a different route, I think, to get the ball to ensure that it was just a double.
And of course, he doesn't have the arm strength that Cabrera has. Gomez had 2 bunt hits last night. And a bounce throw to first, and Cairo saves Clippard an error. You know, the way this game has gone back and forth early, this is the 59th game that these two teams have played since interleague play began. There was one game in particular that the Mets and Yankees played at Shea in 1999. As Gomez hits it off the end of the bat,
Cairo will field, but who's going to throw to? Nobody. Another infield hit for Carlos Gomez. So the 6, 7, 8, and 9 hitters all reach against Clippard.
Well, Gomez has been very fortuitous here in his early stay in the big leagues. I've seen more bleeders and bloopers off his bat than you can shake a stick at. And with his speed, forget it.
That's going to be all for Tyler Clippard. Joe Torre's going to come out and get him. So Luis Vizcaino will be coming on to yet another game for the Yankees after he worked last night for 2/3 of an inning. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by McDonald's. I'm loving it. Mets have taken a 5-4 lead in the 4th. Clippard exits. Luis Vizcaino takes over the pitching for the Yankees.
Vizcaino pitched in last night's ball game, and Gary mentioned 31st game for Vizcaino. That high ERA. He's pitched better of late, but this has been the problem. 24 walks, 18 strikeouts for all the bullpen other than Mo Rivera for the Yankees. Lots of walks as Vizcaino calls Posada out.
Well, the Yankees still haven't gotten Reyes out in this series. He was on base 4 straight times last night, 2 walks today. He's stolen 2 bases and scored 2 runs already in this game. And he drew a walk against Vizcaino last night. I was talking about the game in 1999 that the Mets and Yankees played at Shea. The Yankees hit 6 home runs, and the Mets kept coming back and won the game 10-9. Matt Franco got the game-winning hit off Mariano Rivera. That's what this game's starting to feel like as these teams go back and forth early on. It's like they flipped a switch with Reyes last night, isn't it?
I know now why the Yankees play 3-hour and 40-minute games every night.
It's a lot of consultation involved. Popped up. Jeter retreating. Matsui with the angle with the sun makes the catch. Matsui looked like he was running a pass pattern.
And he had the glasses on. It's a real tough sun here today. Directly overhead. Look at their shadows. So the sun's directly overhead. And he's just looking for a way to get the angle of his sight away from directly into the sun, obviously. So it all worked out. F7 on your scorecard.
So Reyes is retired for the first time in this series. Now 2 out and 2 on for Beltran, who's 0 for 2 today. Popped up and grounded out. Carlos takes a strike.
Carlos, I must say right now, is in a bit of a slump. He's ever since he hurt that knee and that bruise and that semi-collision at first base, he hasn't really been the same since.
7 for 45 since that. Punched in the air. A-Rod, Posada makes the nice sliding catch, shooting over. So Vizcaíno comes on and gets 2 king-sized outs. The Mets, though, take the lead. Posada with the nice play to end the inning, but Ramon Castro putting the Mets in front for the 3rd time today with a 2-run homer, his 4th of the year. Middle of the 4th, 5-4 Mets. Melky Cabrera leads off, pushes a bunt. Glavine off the mound, and he got him. So Cabrera, first pitch, trying to bunt his way on, and Glavine, who fields his position well, makes the play.
Well, it's a nice idea to try to bunt it to the right side because the left-hander and Glavine has to turn all the way around to make the play. But he could have either thrown it to Delgado or he could have drilled him right in the back because he was right out. See where he is on the grass. That's outside of the runner's lane. So even if that ball hit Cabrera, he would have been out.
Well, it goes as a first pitch strike for Glavine, and that's something that's been tough to come by. As Miguel Cairo steps in, Cairo drove in a run with a ground out his first time up, and he takes ball 1. Look at that. Lowest percentage of first pitch strikes in the National League, and there's Glavine right there in the top 5.
But you know something, too, in regard to Glavine? Tom's a cagey pitcher, and a lot of times he's trying to get someone to go after a bad pitch, first pitch. So I don't really put a lot of stock into that statistic, but today he's having difficulty.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, Keith, because some guys are so aggressive, he's saying to himself, you know, I'll throw this little changeup away, he's going to roll it over. The problem is when they take it for a ball, he's not been able to come back with a strike to even the count.
Hit hard and a base hit for Cairo. The 6th hit off Glavine, and the Yankees have the tying run aboard on the top of the batting order coming up.
Tommy continues to throw the ball down in the strike zone for balls, so he's got to elevate it a little, and when he elevates it, it becomes very hittable.
And this is a very, very, it always has been, selective hitting Yankee lineup. You look at the on-base percentages. Jeter 414, Abreu 362, A-Rod 404, Posada 407. That's outstanding.
Here's Johnny Damon, the DH today, and he takes a strike. And yet, Glavine's overall numbers against the Yankees over the years have been very good. He's made 5 prior starts here at Yankee Stadium, 3-1 with a 2.6 ERA. As you look at the pitch count on Tommy, not outrageous, but he could really use an easy inning. Damon had an RBI single his last time up, and Glavine gets ahead of him 0-2. One of the rare times he's been 0-2 today. Mets have given Glavine the lead on 3 separate occasions in this game. Now he's trying to hang on to it. This is the first 0-2 count for Glavine today. Just misses, and it's 1-2.
Nice try right there. Gets ahead on 2 pitches away, and then comes with that hard sinker in. Just to let Damon know, Damon, remember, got a base hit his last at bat on a ball away to left field. Not going to let you dive over that plate.
Now Castro sets up away. Tap to third. Wright comes in. Gets the force at second, and that's all. So Cairo erased 5-4 on the force play, and Damon aboard with 2 out.
You know, as a pitcher, guys, you're not going to win every game 3-1 and be on time and striking out 8 or 9. What you have to really trick yourself into is saying, hey, listen, I don't have my best stuff today, but it's the 4th inning. I have a 1-0 lead. I have the lead. Let's see if I can put a couple more zeros up here, get at least through 5, and see, you know, obviously the offense is really clicking today.
Here's Jeter, who's doubled to right and flied to right, 1 for 2. Damon has 11 steals this year, but his legs have really restricted him recently. In fact, Damon has been exclusively DHing except for 1 game so far in the month of June. Played some center field on Wednesday, but even then had to leave before the game was over.
Jeter hits one in the air to left field. Gomez going back right to the wall, and it's out of here. And the Yankees regain the lead. Fifth home run of the year for Jeter, a 2-run shot. Glavin's had 3 different leads, and he's given up 3 different leads. The Yankees are up 6-5.
Well, I didn't think this was a bad pitch. Well, belt high, didn't get it in enough, but still, Jeter, who goes the other way, shows tremendous bat speed here. I didn't think he got it.
Here's Bobby Abreu, and he takes ball 1.
I don't think it was a bad pitch either, but he has the ability and the strength to pull those arms in. And sometimes even a hitter that goes the other way like Jeter will say, you know what, I'm going to look for 1 pitch in, see if I can be quick inside, and he got it.
Well, watch his hands come in here. Richie Sexton does it so well, probably the best, at bringing that lead hand in to get the barrel of the bat through on an inside pitch. Where a lot of times in our generation, I think in past, guys when they're beat would inside out and go the opposite field. That's been one of the innovations in hitting that I've seen with this generation of hitters.
Curveball misses it as it's 2-2 to Abreu.
Now watch the lead hand. His bottom hand is the key to hitting. Watch him bring it in. It's almost the beginning of an inside out, but it brings it in to get the barrel of the bat through quicker. And boy, that's just, I thought he was jammed, and obviously he wasn't. That ball was way out.
But the only way when you pull those hands in that you can hit the ball that far is the ball's up in the strike zone. If that ball's down, you pull your hands in, it's a ground ball.
Right, and also you got hit in the barrel of the bat.
Yeah, Abreu takes ball 4, and he's on base for the 3rd straight time. Well, after a 2-0 shutout for the Mets last night, it's been a hitter's day. Each team has had a pair of home runs, as we have played seesaw, and Glavine is right now on the wrong end of the seesaw. And Rick Peterson's going to pay a visit to the mound to talk to Glavine before he goes after A-Rod, who hit a bomb of a home run his last time up.
The most outrageous family on television.
Guillermo Mota will start loosening up, as Glavine, who gave up 9 runs in his last start in Detroit, has been tagged for 6 in 3 2/3 today.
You know, Gary and Keith, what I've seen before, though, and I've lived through it, you make many starts over and over again, and you pitch well and you don't get a win, the frustration happens is sometimes all those good games are wasted, and then you get some bad games piled on, and it's hard to get out of that frustrating pace.
Glavine's given up 2 home runs today, now 12 for the season in 88 innings. A-Rod's home run in the 3rd was his 26th, now has 70 RBIs. better than an RBI per game.
Well, here's the 2-run shot his last at bat in the 3rd. And that's way out.
About all Tyler Clippard had to be happy about today. He's off the hook now. I guess he has to be happy about that. 2-1 now to A-Rod. Scott Schoenweiss gets up alongside Moda. You've got Posada, a switch hitter on deck, and then the left-hand hitting Matsui. 2-1 to A-Rod, and the changeup misses, and it's 3-1.
Well, there's no rest for the weary here in this lineup right now, the middle of this Yankee lineup. He's pitching Rodriguez very carefully, but he's got that guy in the on-deck circle and that guy in the hole.
Lifted to left as he got him to lunge for the changeup, and Gomez, shading his eyes, makes the catch, and that puts an end to the inning. But the Yankees regain the lead as Derek Jeter hits his 5th home run of the year. Well, a lot of crooked numbers on the board as we go to the 5th inning. Only 1/2 inning without a run. Let's look at our Dodge trivia question. Tom Glavine going for win number 296, who was the last pitcher to acquire 296 or higher against the Yankees here in the Bronx. David Wright leads off against Luis Vizcaino as we start the 5th inning, and Wright takes a slider for a strike. David singled in a run in the 1st, extended his hitting streak to 17 straight, then stole a base, extended his stolen base streak to 16 straight to start the season. 1 for 2 on the day. Pounds one foul, and it's 1-2.
Well, not a lot to say here. Peterson talking to Tommy Glavine. Just simply didn't get a lot of pitches early, especially inside strike zone, and now kind of have to regroup. He knows that. He's won 295 games, but sometimes you get in the heat of battle, frustration takes over.
And Wright goes down swinging at the high fastball from Vizcaino, who's come on to retire 3 straight hitters.
Well, after the fastball in, he goes up and away out of the strike zone, and David caught fishing there.
Today's pitcher's high speed brought to you by Verizon, working for you. Vizcaino with that 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Glavine's got it up to 88 today. Here's Delgado, who's flied out and popped up. Now hitless in his last 13 at bats. Well, the Mets have scored in every inning of this game, and yet still struggling with runners in scoring position. Just 1 for 5 today after going 1 for 9 last night. And of course, Delgado a big part of that. Two 2-0 to Delgado. And you would think that if Carlos can just lay off some pitches out of the strike zone, maybe that'll be something that can help get him going. Because not only is he not getting hits, he's not drawing any walks. It's this one to center field, and Melky Cabrera has plenty of room. And there are 2 out.
Well, you know, one of the great sluggers right here in Delgado, who's really just had a tough time. Showed a couple signs of breaking out that we said in Florida, that Florida series, the last series, and had the 2 home run game. And just out in front again, and you know, I just don't want to beat a dead horse. I mean, it's obviously the problem is he's flying open too early, and I know Carlos is working on it. He said that he knows that's the problem. He said he's seen the ball better now, but for some reason he's flying out too quick, getting committed, and when you start doing that, you swing into bad pitches.
Well, for old Met fans, I never thought it's almost Kingman-like, isn't it? For a power hitter, I mean, just go through long spells of not being able to get a hit.
The thing about Kingman is he'd punctuate those spells with a towering home run from time to time, but Delgado, it's been more than 2.5 months now, and other than one maybe week-long stretch, he's been in this slump all year.
Yes.
And Willie dropped him in the batting order for a few days, and it seemed to help. Right, he had the big game in Florida after they dropped him in the order.
Yes.
And then he moved him right back up.
It's a funny game. I know it's kind of like a stupid thing to say in the air, but it's a funny game. It just things happen. You think you've seen it all, and you haven't.
Two and 1 to LaDuca, who's going through his own problems right now. 2 for his last 23, with his 0 for 2 today. And Vizcaino misses with the fastball, and it's 3-1. Well, Vizcaino's come on and settled things down a little bit.
Well, he got out. Most importantly was last inning, runners on first and second with 1 out after the 2-run shot by Castro that he came in and put the fire out.
LaDuca hits one in the air down the right field line. Abreu over toward the corner, makes the slide, and it's a fair ball. LaDuca going to second. And Bobby Abreu, who's never all that anxious to go near walls, came up short on the slide, and LaDuca has himself a fly ball double.
Well, this ball has a lot of hang time, and I think Abreu's lost a step or two here as he's gotten older. He's not covering the ground he used to cover. And that's a very, very difficult corner right there, Ronnie.
Was that a fair ball?
Well, Bobby Abreu was saying that the ball was foul, but it seems almost like his body blocked the view of the umpire.
I want to show that again if we can, because that looked like a foul ball, didn't
Let's see. On the line.
Up.
Right on the line.
Right on the line.
Good call. Fair ball.
We don't even need the Mac cam for that. We saw that hit the line.
Nice job. Good shot, guys. So Sean Green will be intentionally walked, and they'll bring up Castro, who homered his last time up. So this will be the second consecutive walk for Green. And with the tying run at second, this will put the go-ahead run at first. As Ron Guidry gets on the phone to the Yankee bullpen, where action will stir.
I don't know how this Yankee bullpen's gonna make it through July.
Time for the sharp detail of the game. Sharp Aquos brings the detail home. That's we're down by a run when Castro ran into one. His 4th home run of the year, a 2-run shot that put the Mets up 5-4. Jeter's home run has put the Yankees up 6-5. And now Castro with another chance with 2 out and 2 on here in the 5th. And Vizcaino misses with a breaking ball, 1-0.
And folks, the ball is not carrying here. Those balls are all just covered. Go.
Well, especially the A-Rod ball. I mean, he just tattooed that.
I tell you what, Castro tattooed his
He
too.
did.
That was off the netting.
That's as deep as he goes, I think.
Well, good pitch to hit right here.
What is?
Well, what is it now? 1's a fastball, 2's a curve. Oh, sorry, 2's a slider. And that's all I got. I haven't got to change it, do I? Was it? Let me see. Heads is a fastball. Tails is.
Mike Myers up in the bullpen. 1-0 to Castro with 2 on and 2 out. And he takes a slider for a strike.
And right there on a 1-0 count as a hitter, and you're looking for a fastball, and he throws you a slider like that, it's a good one to take. That was a pitcher's pitch.
These two pitchers just different for the Yankees. Clipper with that big long arm action. Vizcaino really short arm angle, short arm action.
Does anybody want to throw the ball today?
Unbelievable. LaDuca's on second. He's not a threat to steal.
It's a lovely afternoon. They probably want to play all day.
He had a nice tan. Castro takes a fastball for a strike, and it's 1-2. So Vizcaino on the verge of getting himself out of trouble.
What's going on?
He sees dead people, I think. I don't know. Something's crazy out there.
The ghost of Hamlet.
Oh, my
Lord. Well,
Ira doesn't seem too pleased.
no one seems very pleased, and particularly up in his booth.
I think what happens is Vizcaino is one of those pitchers that he's not shaking off Posada. If he doesn't like the sign, he steps off, which is craziness, but that's his MO.
Hey, at least we're in the shade.
That's right.
He's only got 2 pitches.
Cross-armed.
You put your fielders to sleep.
1-2 to Castro, and he misses with a fastball. 2-2.
People trying to stay loose.
Can you imagine if it's August and it's like 100 degrees and a heat wave? He'd be furious with this guy.
And now Posada calls time. Bring a book.
There you go.
I knew I should have brought my New York Times.
2-2 to Castro. On the inside corner, strike 3 called. Six to 5, the Yankees lead it.
That took forever.
Hilton. Well, this week's Mets CW11 poll question is brought to you by NYPD Recruitment. Apply now for the next exam. NYPDRecruit.com or call 212-RECRUIT. The question was, will the Mets meet the Yankees in October? 31% said yes, and 69% said forget about it. Log on to CW11.com to vote on next week's text poll question. With thunderstorm activity out on the horizon, it's now an official game. Played 4.5 with the home team leading as Jorge Posada leads off against Tom Glavine in the bottom of the 5th. Posada's been up twice and both times has flied to center. And he holds up on the changeup and stopped the swing in time. Meanwhile, at Wrigley Field in Chicago this afternoon, Carlos Zambrano has a no-hitter through 7 against the San Diego Padres.
My question, Mike Barrett catching?
Nope.
Coy Hill?
Hit hard down the line, and an extra base hit for Posada. Dug out of the corner by Gomez, and Posada cruises in with his 22nd double of the year. And Glavine again falling behind in the count and gets hit hard.
Another changeup. They got too much of the plate, not down enough. And this is a very, very, very selective Yankee lineup, particularly the middle. And that's going to be it for Tom.
Well, Willie Randolph has seen enough. Glavine's been tagged for 6 runs and 8 hits. And he's been behind in the count most of the day. He's walked 3, hasn't struck out a batter. Second straight really bad day at the office for Tom Glavine. Gave up 9 runs in Detroit. 6 more today with a chance for 7. 5th straight start without a win for Tom Glavine. And for the 2nd straight start, really did not have it today.
Well, I know what that feeling is on the bench. I don't know what that feeling is on the bench on the quest to 300.
Scott Schoenweis will try and keep the Mets in the game, trailing 6-5. Schoenweis last pitch Tuesday night in L.A.
Pitching against Matsui, handling the left-handed hitters, only 194. Right-handers, 340 average.
There are two lefties in a row coming up with Matsui and Cano. Matsui has singled and scored and flied to center. They just turned the lights on here at Yankee Stadium. Fouled up the first base side as Matsui broke his back. It is getting a little darker by the moment here. We showed you that there are thunderstorms in the area, and those were in the forecast for today.
A little bit of clouds over there, over the left field line above the stadium, but they don't look dangerous.
News that Mr. Wizard passed away.
I did.
Yes, I did see that.
I know I grew up watching Mr. Wizard.
Put a whole new generation of kids because they put him on Nickelodeon.
Don Herbert?
Yes.
My kids are more familiar with Bill Nye, Science Guy. But Mr. Wizard was a big part of our youth. And probably where Keith got his meteorological skills from.
That's absolutely.
All of us. Go ahead, Steve.
I know I'm multi-talented.
0-2 to Matsui. With Posada at second and nobody out. Matsui lines one to right. Green coming in, diving, and he makes the catch. Posada didn't tag, so he can't move up. Big play by Green and a base running mistake by Posada.
Well, Green, we know doesn't cover a lot of ground here, but he's got a little shorter fence there, a smaller right field to patrol. Tough play for Posada here. You don't know if it's going to fall. I can't say it's a serious base running blunder. If it drops six or seven, half a dozen or the other. I mean, you either got to do one way or the other. He got kind of caught in between.
Robinson Cano grounds it to the right side. Pasco tie into right field. Posada's going to try to score. Here comes the throw by Green to the plate. Off the glove of Delgado, and that allows Cano to go to second. Delgado was trying to cut it off, but he muffed it, and the Yankees lead 7-5.
Well, just out of the reach. Nice hitting by Cano here. Out of the reach of Gotay. Carlos right here. I don't know. He just missed it. And you can see the throw was right on the cutoff man. They had no shot from Posada.
Here's Melky Cabrera. Taking the pitch outside.
Now watch Posada here. A little hesitation, like he thinks that he's not going to get the call. Then he turns it on. I think he was a bit surprised.
They charged an error on Delgado, allowing Cano to go to second for failing to cut that ball off. Because had he been able to cut it off,
he was dead to rights.
Looked like Cano had already committed, and they would have had him in a rundown.
And a good smart play by Cano to get that 2-run lead on the board, give yourself up with knowing that Posada's not a speedy runner. So that was a nice play by Cano, and a time to give yourself up in that situation.
The shortstop on the backhand, Reyes makes the long throw right on target. What a great arm. And there are two out as Cano holds at second. He slingshotted that ball over to first base.
Let me ask you a question, Keith, and certainly as a former pitcher, don't know anything really about base running, but more guys seem to be being their own third base coach when they're on the bases. They're kind of deciding if they're going to score or not. As watching Jorge, it's hard to criticize Jorge Posada, but in that occasion, you bust and then let the third base coach slow you down.
The play's behind you, and Larry Bowa is a very aggressive player. Larry, of course, is the third base coach down there. There's Big Larry. A very aggressive player, a very aggressive third base coach. Took a chance there. And I just think Posada thought because of the short right field porch here at Yankee Stadium that he wasn't going to get sent. But you can't assume. You know what that means, right?
Yes.
Supposed to run hard till they stop you, right?
Yes, yes.
0-1 to Cairo. And the fastball misses inside.
Just the little things that are schooled differently, or that has happened.
Well, this is a better shot. It's a very good shot here. And for someone that slowed up in Posada a little bit, he sure got home. He would have been safe. I mean, if Delgado lets the ball through, he's safe.
Cairo fouls it back. Well, Glavin's final line reads 4 innings plus, 7 runs, 8 hits. That means in the last 2 starts, Glavin's given up 16 earned runs in 8 1/3 innings. And his season's earned run average has gone up to 4.67. It started to rain now here at Yankee Stadium. It is an official game. And Cairo with a broken bat. Bloop. Gotay won't get it. Green gets it on a hop. Cano will score. And it's 8-5 Yankees. And the error by Delgado proves costly.
Well, when it rains, it pours. No pun intended here. And this is a shattered bat, a broken bat, completely broken, and it finds a nice hole. And with 2 outs, Cano can fly. Yankees have another run.
So Cairo's second RBI of the day. And they lead 8-5. 4 straight innings now, the Yankees have scored 2 runs. Mets had 3 separate leads, but now they're down by 3. And Damon takes a strike.
Well, this inning should be over by all intents. If Delgado makes the cutoff and gets Cano, it's a 2-run ball game, and we're going into the top of the 6th.
Damon is 1 for 3. The Yankees now with 10 hits in the game. Well, when they played the Saturday afternoon game at Shea Stadium, it poured. I'm thinking it should rain here too. A breaking ball by Schoenweiss, and it's 0-2. And each minute it rains a little bit harder.
The Yankees now 4 straight innings in a row with a crooked number.
Oh, ingenious.
Necessity, the mother of invention. Or maybe the father of invention, since tomorrow's Father's Day.
Yes. Oh, good old American ingenuity.
Can't beat it. No, I'm going to take care of him. Keep him dry.
Oh, nice.
That's why we celebrate Dad tomorrow. Castro's throw a little too late. Cairo running on 0-2 has the stolen base. 5th of the year for Miguel Cairo.
Well, the Yankees saying, okay, you're going to steal off us. Take that. Cairo got, I think, just left from the belt. Took a chance, and they're not going to throw him out. Not even with a perfect throw.
So now another runner in scoring position for Damon. Count 1-2. And he strikes him out. So Schoenweiss puts an end to the inning, but a productive one for the Yankees as they add 2 runs. One of them unearned, the result of Delgado's error. We go to the 6th, 8-5 Yankees. Pitcher to win number 296 or higher against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium.
Yes, of course.
Tom Seaver, 300th win for the Chicago White Sox in 1985.
Don Baylor last out, fly ball to left field. Scott Proctor now in to pitch. This will be his 35th game. He appeared in 83 games for the Yankees last year. That's the second highest single season total in Yankees history, behind Paul Quantrill's 86 in 2004. Everyday Scott Proctor.
Time for a sharp detail of the game, brought to you by Sharp Aquos, bringing the detail home. Ruben Gotay, 2nd inning. 3rd home run of the year. At the time it gave the Mets a 2-0 lead. We've been back and forth several times since then, and the Yankees right now with an 8-5 lead. As Gotay leads off in the 6th. 2 for 2 today. And Proctor misses inside. Well, Tyler Clippard did not go the required 5 innings for a win. Luis Vizcaino, though, pitched very well in relief, an inning and 2/3, no runs, 1 hit. He could possibly get the win if the Yankees hold on. Ty takes high, 2-0. Just saw a shot of Bruce Fremming, who is from Wisconsin. He can take the bad weather.
Yes. He's a Badger.
And just as we said that, Bruce is walking out to consult with his fellow umpires, and perhaps they're thinking about stopping this game.
Where's Joe West when you need him?
Well, he called down to first base, and he's talking to Mike Winters and getting his take on it. And now the other umpires, Mark Wegner and James Hoy, are going to come over as well.
The grounds crew guy, what's going on?
He probably said, "Where are we having dinner tonight?"
That's a good veteran move by Bruce to get a hand.
Yes. You're absolutely right.
2-0 to go Ty, and Proctor misses ball 3. Proctor's had kind of an up and down year. Bruce, maybe he was just asking Winters if he'd heard a weather forecast. And there's a strike, 3-1. Well, Carlos Zambrano carried his no-hitter into the 8th against San Diego. Well, with 1 out, Marcus Giles singled to break it up. And by the way, that game is still scoreless as they now go to the bottom of the 8th at Wrigley. And Gotay takes ball 4. And so brought in with a 3-run lead, Proctor walks the first man to face him.
Well, it's exactly the one thing you don't want to do. Got a 3-run lead. You're in the 6th inning, middle of the ball game. No free passes.
So Carlos Gomez, who had an infield hit his last time up, he's now got a 5-game hitting streak going. It all started with that home run he hit as he takes ball 1. Let's check in with Kevin Burkhardt. Kevin?
You know, guys, Carlos Gomez has this ritual, I guess you could call it, that he does as he strolls up to the plate every time, and he sniffs the bat. It's a little bizarre, so I had to go to the bottom of this and find out exactly what this is all about. And it's pretty simple. He wanted to be unique. When he was 15 growing up, he said all these guys he looked up to had their own little things. And so he sat there and tried to figure out what his own thing could be. He said something that no one else had. So he started sniffing the bat for good luck. I said, do you really sniff? Do you smell for anything? Of course, he's smelling for base hits, guys. So we'll see how long that tradition goes.
Kevin, I suggest you take that microphone and get out of the rain.
Yeah, where's the CW11 umbrella?
Don't you know I've experienced the microphones in water by now, guys?
That's right.
I mean, come on. I'm a pro at this now.
Well, we saw you in Arizona in the swimming pool with your microphone. Woo. And we saw you in McCovey Cove in the kayak with your microphone.
That's his thematic 07 season for Kevin. Water, microphone.
There's a strike to Gomez. Well, the rain is having an impact in that the color of the infield is now changing and getting darker, and it looks like they're going to stop it right now. Bruce Fremming calling time. Wow. And in the Mets' 66th game of the year, this is going to be the first in-game rain delay that the Mets have experienced this season. Comes with a 2-1 count on Gomez, with Gotay at first and nobody out in the top of the 6th inning. The Mets trailing 8-5, and if the game were to be rained out at this point, it would be an official game. But for the moment, this game is going to be halted.
Boy, we've seen worse, though, huh? The players have played through worse, but obviously Bruce doesn't want this field to get too wet before they stop it.
So the grounds crew getting some action, and there's certainly been plenty of action in this game. The Mets jumped out in front 2-0.
We're behind the waterfall.
Can you even see us through the rain?
Well, As Keith would say when we get postponed by rain for a little bit, order the pizzas, get the cards out, let's go.
Yeah, that's right. Get that coffee nice and hot. So when we get back out there, we get that little black cup of coffee before we go back out there.
Well, we'll be right back here to Yankee Stadium as soon as they're ready to resume action. Mets trailing 8-5 in the 6th. Right now in the CW11, we take you to My Wife and Kids. Not mine, really.
They'll, of course, uncover home plate so they can continue the game. I don't know how much they're going to do with the batter's box itself. They're going to smooth things out as much as they can. The same on the mound. They give the pitcher time to warm up. And I see Scott Proctor walking out of the Yankee dugout, so it appears he's going to be the man. He's going to take the mound. He was on the mound when the rain started to fall here at Yankee Stadium. So it appears that Scott Proctor, he's going to play catch with Jorge Posada and get ready to get things going here again in a few minutes. Although, as he steps out of the dugout and they put the tarp back and under its wraps, all of a sudden it's getting cloudy again here at Yankee Stadium.
Now, if you look at the clock, it's 3:54. They say they're going to start at 3:55, so that would be 36 minutes that Proctor has not thrown a pitch. Is that going to work against him, Al?
As we said before we got off the air, I was surprised to think that if it was at least a half hour that Proctor would come back, and mostly because, look, relievers come in and pitch 12, 14, 15 pitches. If they pitch 2 innings, that's a lot. But to have this kind of rest for a guy who's used to getting up, throwing quick 8-10 bullets, and he's ready to go in the game, it'll be interesting to see how he does.
Do you think Joe Torre will have somebody working in the bullpen as Scott Proctor begins the rest of this ball game?
You would think, but you know, look, Scott Proctor in the minor leagues, he was a starter. As a matter of fact, prior to last year, they wanted him to go down to Columbus AAA and be a starter. So he's familiar with getting up and down as far as having to pitch 5-6 innings. Obviously, that's not his role now.
Jorge Posada. That's like his office. You know, he's going to keep it as tidy as possible. He cleans off home plate so Scott Proctor can resume his warm-up tosses from the mound.
That's his home plate away from home. Now, Proctor, before this rain delay, he walked Ruben Gotay to start the inning, and they had a 2-1 count on Carlos Gomez, so he did not have the plate. Obviously, they need him to have it right now. This has been a seesaw battle, and Jose Reyes has been in the middle of it again with 2 walks, 2 stolen bases, 2 runs scored. Willie Randolph getting the lay of the land from Bruce Fleming, and for the Mets, Scott Schoenweiss pitched the bottom of the 5th inning, or he closed out the bottom of the 5th inning. In all likelihood, we'll see somebody else in the bottom of the 6th, so the Mets are trying to come back. The Mets had a run in the 1st, a run in the 2nd, a run in the 3rd, then 2 in the 4th, and the Yankees have put up deuces in each of 4 innings. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. The Yankees put up 2 runs in innings. So Tom Glavine started. He struggled, and the kid Tyler Clippard for the Yankees, he got knocked out in the 4th inning as well. And this is the part of the rotation. We talk about how the Yankees have really settled things with pitching. Well, they've settled things in the first 4. Messina, Clemens, Pettit, and Chin-Ming Wang. But the 5th, that's going to be a question, and that might be the last time that Clippard pitches up here. We could see Kagawa next time, because as Kim Jones said in the pregame show, they say that Kagawa's all straightened out. So I don't know if that was playing on the mind of Clippard, but he didn't pitch very well.
He didn't have it today. He kind of struggled with his control. I mean, 3 walks in 3 1/3 innings and allowing 5 hits as well, and he was charged with all 5 runs that the Mets scored. Only 1 strikeout for Tyler Clippard, and maybe the second time around the Mets had a better idea of what he could do to them, and the Mets fared better against him today, although the Yankees offense got it in gear after somewhat slumbering last night, not scoring a run against Oliver Perez, who pitched a fine game for the Mets. But today the offense is clicked into gear. We're only in the 5th inning, and the Yankees have 8 runs on 10 hits.
That's okay for the Mets because they begin a long homestand after that. The Yankees will leave on Monday and travel to Colorado. They'll begin a 3-game set against the Rockies, then 3 games against the Giants, then an off day in Baltimore, and 3 more against the Orioles. So that is a very, very long road trip upcoming for the Yankees. Joe Torre talking with Bruce Fleming. Probably, I bet you they're talking about that balk earlier in the game, and also about what the radar gun is showing, or the radar that shows whether or not there's rain on the way. Joe kind of shrugged his shoulders when he walked back to the dugout, so I don't know if he was happy with the conversation, but he takes a seat on the bench next to Ron Guidry, and it looks like we're ready for baseball. Carlos Gomez smelling his hit, or hoping that there's a hit that he smells. Okay, we're ready. Gotay leads off first. And Proctor is ready. There's a 2-1 count on Carlos Gomez. And Gotay dives back. So a 40-minute rain delay. That toss to first means the resumption of the game is on at 3:59. And they stop play at 3:19. The 2-1. Foul back, 2-2. Now you think during the rain delay, Proctor said to Cairo, I'm throwing over. When I get on the mound, I'm throwing right over to try to pick him off. Or is that something, a sign that was sent?
Yeah, it's a sign.
So they didn't discuss it for 30 minutes?
No.
You real sure of that?
No. Well, the throwovers and step offs, and pitch outs, that comes from the bench.
Runner goes. Swung on a miss. Throw to second is not in time. The track meet continues for the Mets on the bases. And that's his first stolen base.
Yeah, he's filled the column and Gotay. Well, just like the rest of the Mets team, he is a speedster.
So here is Reyes, who's walked twice and flied out in this game, and he goes after the first pitch and fouls it off. Reyes 3 for 3 last night with a walk, 2 more walks today, 2 more stolen bases today, 2 more runs scored today. And thus the New York almost obliterated on his uniform. Mets down 8-5. They led 3 separate times in this game. But Tom Glavine couldn't hold any one of the 3. Another rough day for Glavine, who got tagged for 7 runs in 4 innings plus.
And you know, they stranded 5, and not to be negative, but in this kind of game, it's a high-scoring affair. You got to try to pick up every stake that you can out there.
Mets are just 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position today. And Proctor misses inside and low, 1-1. Reyes has had an electrifying series so far. But the Mets are going to need a whole lot more if they're going to come back in this game.
Well, this game's far from over. A 3-run lead with this bullpen here, the Yankees. Not to be disparaging, but I guess I am.
1-2 to Reyes.
And all of a sudden, Proctor, who couldn't find the plate when he came in since the rain delay, has come back throwing strikes.
Well, good change up here. I watched him warm up on the mound. That's where they warmed up. 21 pitches it took for him to get loose. After throwing on the side with Posada, only took him 21 to be ready to pitch. That's pretty good.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's real. That's not a lot of pitches.
Okay.
Like for a starter, it would be more around the 40 range, 45, 50.
1-2 to Reyes. Jammed him and he fouls it off. And Reyes comes up shaking his hand after that ball off the fists.
This is always a tough at bat too. When you have a rain delay, Gare, and you're the first or second are going to hit in the first inning, the first half inning after a rain delay. It takes a while for your body to get back into the rhythm of the game. I've always rather in a rain delay be out in the field, getting more loose, and then coming in and hitting. It's the toughest at bat.
How about for a pitcher getting restarted?
Well, I think it's more of a mental thing, because I think physically you can have as many pitches as you want to get ready. So that's not a problem. I think mentally getting back into the game and the situational game.
Breaking ball fouled off. So Reyes has fouled off a couple of tough pitches.
So let's say you're not in the field, Keith. So you're not in the field. What things can you do in the clubhouse? Let's say they say we're starting in 20 minutes. Is there anything you do?
Well, they usually give you more time than that. You can come out 20 minutes before and start doing little sprints and getting re-stretched. That's the most important thing. And swing a little bit, get the lead weight in the bat. Probably would have been better advice to go in the cage and maybe hit a little bit, but I never did that.
1-2 pitch, chopped up the first baseline, foul. So changeup, curveball, fastball. He's fouled them all off.
So basically, that if I had a bat like Jose Reyes has right here, I wouldn't be swinging for the downs 2-0. I would be up there basically a line drive hitter, looking to go right up the middle and being very short and compact.
But now he's seen 6 pitches in the at bat. Do you feel a little looser at that point? A little more into the game at this point?
Quite frankly, Gary, to be honest with you, it's been so long since I've had that situation that I've forgotten.
You know, you've forgotten more than I ever knew.
You could lie.
This will be the 7th pitch of the at bat to Reyes. They'll go tie at second and 1 out. In tight. And Reyes giving a pretty good battle to Scott Proctor. Tyler Clippard started for the Yankees, lasted just 3 1/3, gave up 5 runs and 5 hits. Kudos to Luis Vizcaíno, who came in to settle this game down. Went an inning in the 3rd, allowed no runs and 1 hit. And now Proctor in to pitch the 6th. 2-2 to Reyes. Reaches for it and fouls it away. This is turning into a classic turn at bat for Reyes.
They just informed me that they sold more espresso here than ever have at Yankee Stadium after that outing by Vizcaíno. People needed a little shot, a little jolt of coffee.
Well, he certainly
did the job, though.
Hypnotized the Mets. Proctor working hard on Reyes. This will be the 9th pitch of the at bat. Fastball fouled off. And on we go.
There's 2 buddies.
Sometimes.
Not today.
Again, the 2-2 to Reyes. In the air to right center field. Abreu and Cabrera. And Cabrera takes charge. So Ty tags at second. He'll out over to third. But Proctor wins the battle from Reyes. Took him 10 pitches to do it, but he gets Reyes to fly out for the second out. As Gotay takes third.
Well, after 2 pitches away, he came back in and got Jose.
So 2 down, and here's Carlos Beltran, who's gone 0 for 3 today. Popped up twice and grounded out. Mets have managed just 6 hits today, but they've gotten 2 home runs from Gotay and Castro. And a strike called to Beltran.
I gotta think that Carlos, that outside corner, looks really far away for him right now. He's taking a lot of pitches away, Ron.
In the air to left, and an easy play for Matsui. And the inning is over. So Proctor, after the rain delay, strikes out Gomez, gets a couple of fly balls, and keeps the Yankees 3-run lead. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees with an 8-5 lead. And Guillermo Mota takes over the pitching for the Mets.
Well, this is his 8th appearance at high ERA. He's not found his way so far. Really not using that fastball, almost primarily a changeup thrower so far in this early part of his season, as he calls out Ramon Castro.
Mota last pitched in Los Angeles on Wednesday night. Faced 2 batters, got them both out. Trying to get himself pointed in the right direction now after sitting out that 50-game suspension for performance-enhancing substances.
Well, this is why he's on the team. He's supposed to have the versatility to pitch 2 or 3 innings. He's also supposed to have the versatility to come in and get a strikeout if you need it. See how he does today.
Derek Jeter to lead off. Jeter's had another big day. A double and a 2-run homer. And as much as Jeter has been a successful player in the big leagues for a decade now, he especially seems to bedevil the Mets. Up the middle, and a base hit for Jeter, his third of the game. Even on the infield, a little rain soak. That ball just had enough juice to sneak through.
Another up and in fastball that Jeter kind of brings his hands in again. It's just out of the reach.
You know, the problem is that Mota has a really good changeup, and that is his out pitch. But he throws his fastball. He doesn't pitch with it. He doesn't throw to spots. He just kind of rears back and lets it go. And that doesn't really cut a lot of weight here, especially today in Yankee Stadium against this ball club.
Now Bobby Abreu, who's been on base 3 times in a row, 2 walks and a base hit. And he dribbles one. Tough play for Mota coming off the mound. From his knees, he throws him out. Mota, the former minor league shortstop, making that play as Jeter goes to second.
Well, how many swinging bunts we're going to have in this series? Another one by Abreu here. And you mentioned that he's a former infielder. Nice play with the bare hand. And the nice toss there to Delgado. There's really 2 ways you can make that play as a pitcher. That one, like you're almost stepping on it, bare hand, and throw it. Or you can scoop it up, and if you have a first baseman that has the wherewithal, you can scoop it up. Your first baseman comes in foul territory, and you throw a little strike over there. Takes the runner out of play.
We used to play that game.
Yes, we did.
I used to love to do that. It was like dancing on the bag going from fair to foul territory.
Here's Alex Rodriguez, who hit a monster 2-run homer back in the third, his 26th of the year. Probably easier for some first basemen than for others.
Yes. But I remember being taught that by my father when I was like first starting to play first base. And those were some of the drills I had. And that's the advantage that I had. And Ronnie, you had.
Yeah.
We both had fathers that were great baseball instructors.
A-Rod just 1 for 7 in this series. There goes Jeter. The pitch inside, throw to third by Castro, safe. 7th stolen base of the year for Derek Jeter, his second in this series.
Well, I think the Mets have inspired the Yankees, because this is what, the 2nd stolen base here for the Yanks. 2 in the last 2 innings, and this is a very heads-up play by Jeter. It's a very close play, but he just kind of lulled Mota to sleep. Looked like he was just kind of lollygagging there, and boom, he was gone.
The infield comes in for A-Rod with the count 2-0. And Mota misses high with the changeup, and it's 3-0. Well, you wouldn't think that you'd want to throw a strike right here. Posada has been a great hitter this year, but he's also a double play candidate.
I would be giving a green light to A-Rod here, as hot as he is.
And he throws him a strike. It's 3-1.
He countered with a changeup, though. 3-0 changeup.
But that's all he throws. Is it really a changeup?
Well, that is the problem. If you don't use your fastball enough, it's changing off of a changeup. It's changing off of nothing.
3-1 to A-Rod. And it's ball 4. So now the infield can drop back to double play depth with Posada coming up. Rick Peterson going over the notes.
Well, you're in a situation where you want to get a ground ball. Jorge Posada has bounced into 10 double plays this year.
Well, it's a big moment in this game because the Yankees right now threatening to blow the game open, leading at 8-5. 1st and 3rd and 1 out. And Mota trying to keep his team in the game here in the bottom of the 6th. And Posada lays off the changeup, and it's 1-0. Posada's never had a hit against Mota, 0 for 3.
You know, we talked about Tyler Clippard. Guillermo Mota is doing a similar thing. His fastballs, he's on top, and he's just dropping ever so slightly with that changeup. trying to turn it over.
Throws that changeup for a strike, and it's 1-1. Posada, second leading hitter in the American League with a .349 average, trailing only Magliore-Ordonez. On 1-1, he dribbles it foul, and it's 1-2.
Well, 3 straight changeups. He shook off Castro there, wanted to throw the third. And Posada swung at a bad pitch. It was a bait changeup, tough pitch to lay off. As a hitter, you saw him hit his head. He was mad at himself for not being 2-1, and he's really now 1-2 in the hole.
There goes A-Rod, and the pitch outside. He got such a big jump, there was no chance for Castro to throw. So this has become a stolen base parade. The Mets have 4 stolen bases in this game, and the Yankees now have 3.
Well, the infield's back in, and Mota just asleep at the switch there.
So now it's 2-2 to Posada with second and third and 1 out.
I don't understand how you can't hold A-Rod close in that situation. Got to keep him at first base to give yourself a chance to get out of this inning.
The 8th stolen base of the year for Rodriguez. 2-2 to Posada. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Well, there's a big strikeout for Guillermo Mota. Now there are 2 men down.
Well, the bottom drops out of this changeup inside instead of outside. That one's inside, down and in. You know, left-handers love that ball down and in, but if you can keep it under that hitting range, you're in good shape. Mota with the strikeout.
Well, he got him to fish for a bad one there. Pretty much the same pitch on the 1-1 count that he swung at.
So here's Matsui, who's 1 for 3 today. Robbed of a hit by Sean Green his last time up. Green made a diving catch in right field. Second and third and 2 down. And the fastball misses 1-0. Matsui just 1 for 6 in this series. He'd have been a very hot hitter coming into this series. And the changeup in for a strike. 1-1. You know, the word we heard on Mota last year when he came over from Cleveland is that he wasn't throwing his changeup. It's hard to believe right now.
He loves his changeup.
It's really the one pitch he can throw for a strike. Fastball hit up the middle, base hit, and that'll bring home 2. Jeter and A-Rod coming to score on the 2-out RBI hit by Matsui, and the Yankees now have a 10-5 lead. That's a backbreaker.
Well, the fastball here, it's away, but it's up too much, and it doesn't sink. It just kind of runs away flat. And nice hitting by Matsui, and if I'd have had my druthers, I'd have rather dealt with Cano. Matsui, to me, is too good a clutch hitter.
Too good of an RBI man.
41 RBIs now for Matsui. So the Yankees, who trailed 3 times in this game, now lead 10-5. And here's Robinson Cano, and he dribbles 1 foul.
You know what you can do? If you don't want to throw your fastball and you want to use your changeup to get the hitters out, then if you're going to use the fastball, don't throw it over the plate. Throw one up and in. Knock them down. Get them away from the plate. Then go back outside with that changeup. If you throw a fastball away in that situation, even if it's off the plate, it doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't set up the hitter anyway.
Deuce is wild for the Yankees.
Wow.
That's a pretty good poker hand.
Close to Yahtzee.
Yahtzee.
What is this?
It's like Yalta.
Yeah.
More conferences than
Stalin, Churchill, and FDR had.
I think, Keith, you lived in the building. We need Dag Hammarskjöld here.
Lucky it's not really the Russians. There'd have been nothing but microphones all over that mound.
Well, that's why guys cover their faces with their gloves, isn't it? So we can't read their lips. Cano has singled, walked, scored twice, and driven in one. And he takes the changeup wide, 1-1. It's only the bottom of the 6th, by the way. Mets have plenty of time to catch up in this game against the Yankee bullpen. But so far, the Yankee bullpen has held them in check. This game is reminiscent of the game at Shea Stadium that the two teams played on that Saturday, when the Mets won it 10-7. Built a big lead and then hung on. That game was played, the majority of it anyway, in the rain. We've had a rain delay today of 40 minutes. Back to the mound, and Mota makes the play to end the inning.
But the Yankees had a pair, 2-out RBI hits. They're killers,
and Matsui
burns Mota for 2. 10-5 Yankees.
The line score brought to you by Infinity Beyond Machine. It's been a high-scoring affair. Mets had 3 separate leads: 2-0, 3-2, 5-4. Couldn't hold any of them. Now they're down by 5 as they come to bat in the 7th. And David Wright takes high from Scott Proctor. David's 1 for 3, extended his hitting streak to 17 games with a first inning single. He's driven in a run. He's stolen a base. Delgado and Loduca to follow here in the 7th. 2-0. Proctor walked the leadoff batter in the 6th inning. First man he faced, Gotay.
Not many times the Mets scored 5 runs, 6 innings, and are doubled up.
Well, not many times the Mets have given up 2 runs 5 innings in a row.
Well, they had the 2 games last weekend in Detroit, where they scored 7 runs in each game and lost them both, 8-7 and 15-7.
At one game, they had 7 consecutive hitters leading off the inning with a hit. Wow.
Against them.
Against them, yes.
3-0 to Wright. And David takes a strike. Well, the Tigers are the highest scoring team in the major leagues. The Yankees are the 2nd highest scoring team in the major leagues. The Phillies are the highest scoring team in the National League, and the Mets have played them all during this stretch. Wright pops it up. Abreu angling in, making the call. And there's one away.
Charlie Sheen and John Cryer join the CW11 family this fall in the Emmy-nominated hit comedy 2.5 Men. And if you think your life is crazy, wait until you see what goes on in this house. Get in on the dysfunctional family fun weeknights starting in September right here on the CW11.
Well, here's Delgado coming up. Carlos has been up 3 times, hit the ball in the air all 3. Now 0 for his last 14.
And he lines one over the glove of Cano, and a base hit for Delgado.
So he gets off the Schneid, and the Mets have their first hit off Scott Proctor.
Well, this is what he needs to do. Stay back. It's still a ball. He's a pull hitter, but it's still a ball that we've seen him drive to left center field. So, but that, at least he stayed back there, and it's something to build on.
So here's Loduca with 1 out and 1 on. Loduca hit a fly ball double down the right field line his last time up.
Line drive, base hit.
So back-to-back hits for Delgado and Loduca, and the Mets have 2 men on. So the Mets trying to fashion something here in the 7th.
Well, this is what Loduca does so well. And he stays level this time. Paul has been hitting a little bit of an uppercut and getting too many balls in the air, and that's a good line drive stroke.
Ron Guidry on his way out to the mound to talk to Proctor. They've got the left-hander Myers up in the bullpen, but Guidry doesn't make the pitching changes, so Proctor is staying in. Brian Rooney, the right-hander, also up behind Proctor.
Well, he's going out there to give these two, left-hander and the right-hander, time to get loose, also to talk to Proctor.
Well, if you're not going to bring in Myers here, why don't you just tell him to sit down? You got a right-hand hitter on deck, and then a switch hitter Gotay, and then another right-hand hitter Gomez. I mean, Myers has already been up twice in this game.
He's a workhorse, as a lot of these Yankee relievers are.
Bullpen management has got to be one of the hardest things for any manager or pitching coach to learn.
And the most important.
Sean Green has walked twice, 0 for 1. And he takes ball 1.
I mean, in this day of baseball now, you have to assume you need 9 outs. You go from there. Need 9 outs a game from your bullpen. And who you use in what situations, so important.
In the air to left center, and Cabrera gets over. And that's the second out. So 2 away. So Proctor, after giving up back-to-back hits, gets Green on the fly ball, and Ramon Castro will step in. Castro had a 2-run homer back in the 4th. At the time, it gave the Mets a 5-4 lead. But Jeter hit a 2-run homer in the bottom of the 4th to give the Yankees the lead, and they've been in front ever since. And Castro takes a fastball for a strike.
With these 2 outs, you're looking for Ramon maybe to run into another one, try to get the Mets back into this ball game.
Castro now with 4 home runs on the season. Can't reach that fastball, and it's 0-2.
Proctor is so erratic. He can have a batter and walk them on 5 pitches and then come back and make 2 nasty pitches like that on Castro. He's got a good arm.
Yes.
Another fastball, and Castro can merely wave at it at 97 miles an hour. Second strikeout for Proctor, and the Mets are done in the 7th. Mets are now 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position today. After the Mets and Jose Reyes won a gem last night, a seesaw affair today. Reyes was in fine fettle early, but Tom Glavine struggled after being given a 2-0 lead and a 3-2 lead. He gave up a home run to Alex Rodriguez to put the Yankees in front. Then Castro and Jeter traded blows. We sat through a rain delay. Hideki Matsui drove home a pair. And the Yankees, after trailing 3 times early in this game, have built a 10-5 lead as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Subway Series now in its 11th season. Mets with a win today could clinch the season series from the Yankees. But they are trailing by 5 runs.
Now, you've been there for all of them, to see all these kids dancing to the music. You've been there for all the Mets-Yankees series. If you grew up a fan, would you have liked it as a young man watching the Mets? And
well, I said this in 1997, that New York baseball fans had waited 40 years for it.
Yeah.
Because it had been that long since 2 New York teams had played each other in games that mattered. And I think that the passion that was there for it at the beginning was unprecedented. And it's remained a phenomenon ever since. But I don't think anything can match the feelings going into those first meetings as Melky Cabrera leads off the bottom of the 7th. And there have certainly been enough memorable moments between these 2 teams. From that first ever game that Dave Malicki shut the Yankees out, as Mota handles the comebacker and throws out Cabrera 1 away. to Mike Piazza's ownership of Roger Clemens, to Clemens hitting Piazza in the head in the bat throwing incident of the World Series, and to that great comeback win that we talked about in 1999 when the Mets overcame 6 home runs to win 10-9.
You were there for most of them too, right?
I was there.
Yeah.
I mean, every game energizes this town in a way that can't be described. Now, I will say that right at the moment, and for the last inning or so since the rain delay, this is about as quiet as a stadium ever gets for a Mets-Yankees game, as I think the rain delay took a little starch out of this one. And perhaps the score has as well. Miguel Cairo 2 for 3 on the day, but Gotay there to handle this ground ball, and Mota quickly has 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. So 2 out and nobody on. Well, the Yankees have scored 2 runs in each of the last 5 innings. It's the 3rd time in team history that the Mets have allowed 5 consecutive multiple run innings. Last time 1996 against the Pirates.
Didn't happen on your watch, Ronnie.
No.
You noticed that, didn't you?
It's true. 1980, 96. That would book in your both of your tenures.
Well, I had nothing to do with it. I mean, it's all the pitching staff.
You never know. Sometimes it's the defense.
It's true.
Well, Mota trying to put an end to that run as he faces Damon, who's 1 for 4 on the day, and has driven in a run and scored a run. And Mota's fastball misses 2-0. Tom Glavine started, gave up 7 runs and 8 hits over 4 innings plus. Scott Schoenweiss got tagged with an unearned run in his inning of work. And Mota gave up 2 in the 6th and now trying to finish the 7th. But falls behind Damon 3-0. Tomorrow night El Duque will take the mound, and even though he got roughed up a little bit in his last start, his performance this year has been stunning, and it's got to be extra special, you would think, for Orlando Hernandez to come back to Yankee Stadium. A pitch against Cheng-Ming Wang tomorrow night. There's a strike.
And his ability to get out the right-handed hitters should really help him against Jeter and Rodriguez in the middle of that lineup. He's just been outstanding against right-handed hitters.
He's going to have to worry about Damon, of course, Matsui, Posada, and Cano.
Yeah.
3-2 to Damon. Mets have never faced Cheng-Ming Wang, and he is so nasty with his sinker.
Throws strikes, goes deep into games, throws that bowling ball sinker and a little slider.
Just off the plate, ball 4, and Damon draws a 2-out walk. Second walk given up by Mota. That's 5 today for Mets pitching. And so Jeter, who's just a triple shy of the cycle, will come to bat. Typical Jeter day against the Mets. Double, 2-run homer, single. He's stolen a base. He's scored 2. He's driven in 2.
Up to 341. Look at that on-base percentage.
This is not a great triples ballpark. If you're thinking about a cycle for Jeter.
You have to hit it out there in that 399 mark out in left center field.
And have it bounce around a little bit.
Well, I know earlier in the game, before the rain delay, we were comparing the statistics of Jose Reyes versus Derek Jeter, and that's all well and nice. It's great to compare stats, but until Jose plays on a championship team for the Mets, it's really hard to compare them because Jeter is so closely associated with being such an amazing winner. Now, he had lots of help and great players to play with, but still, some of the things he does, the intangibles that he brings, hard to quantify that.
Castro heads out to talk to Mota.
We need the 2 soup cans with the string. Let's go from the catcher to the pitcher.
Well, you know the dirt strip they've got between the mound and home plate in Arizona and Detroit? I think it's time to put one in because otherwise that grass is going to die.
Be yellow by August.
Maybe by the 9th inning today.
There's really no secret here. There's 2 outs. Guy on first. Try to keep him close and go get him. Get an out.
Well, maybe that's what he was saying.
Okay.
And Jeter has his 4th hit of the day. Damon trying to go first to third will go there without a throw. Ball gets away, backed up by Reyes. Mota went to cover third. A very nice play by him, just in case. But now he's given up a walk and a base hit, and Jeter has a 4-hit day.
Well, 2 of his 4 hits to right field. This one is the second one. Nice line drive hitting the opposite field. Of course, the home run he pulled. Damon going first to third. And his single last inning up the middle. So he sprayed the ball all over the ballpark.
And isn't that how you become a .333 hitter or better?
That's
you
right.
use the whole field.
That's right.
Yankees now have 13 hits in the game. Abreu has 1 of them. He's also drawn a couple of walks, and well, that's a typical Bobby Abreu day when he's going well, which he is right now. First and third and 2 down. The folks at Elias, have they researched yet the last time the Mets gave up multiple runs in 6 straight innings?
Yeah.
May have to look.
You don't know that?
I didn't know the 5 straight. Did you?
You have dropped in my estimation.
Sorry. We all have our difficult moments. Change up in for a strike. Kevin Burkhardt has more on Abreu. Kevin?
You know, Gary, we know he's had a great June, but certainly a struggle at the beginning of the year. He said it was mentally very tough because it's hard not to get down on yourself at that point, especially, he said, when you're facing those questions every day. But he watched video every day, and he said there was just small adjustments. It was just a little frustrating that he couldn't get to those adjustments day in and day out. It took him, you know, sometimes a week to adjust to something small. He said he knew he was going well when he started going the other way, and we've seen that today already.
He has certainly turned things around and played more like the Bobby Abreu we remember seeing in Philadelphia. Mota just trying to survive this 7th inning now. And Abreu fights one off.
You know, I know Tom Seaver gave me a great piece of advice when I was a young player. He said, you know, if you're a major leaguer, and he said, in Tom's way, the jury's still out on that. But if you're a major leaguer, when you're struggling, you're inches away, not miles away.
Right.
Just remember that.
Just off the plate, it's 2-2. Tom was hard to impress, I get the impression.
He was tough, Big Tom. You see Abreu there with his hand, his pinky on the knob. Not so unusual. A lot of hitters do that.
And the changeup gets him. And so Mota works his way through trouble in the 7th. His 2nd strikeout. On to the 8th at Yankee Stadium. Yankees with a 10-5 lead.
Right-hander. It's been up and down this season. Appeared in 72 games for the Yankees last season.
Ruben Gotay first man to face him, and Gotay's had a terrific day. 2 for 2 and a walk. He's stolen a base. He's hit a home run.
Oh!
Farnsworth just a bit outside.
Was the mascot anywhere behind there?
You gotta get a different prescription for those glasses.
They might have fogged up in the rain delay. Farnsworth is a puzzle.
Wrapped in an enigma.
Well, everywhere he's been, he's had difficulty getting along. He's cantankerous.
That one year in Atlanta really was the second half, right? He had that nice second half for Atlanta.
Well, he used to throw 100 miles an hour straight. Now he throws 94 miles an hour.
He needs a little larger frames in those glasses, doesn't he? It's like reading glasses.
There's a strike, and it's 3-1. You want it to look like Ryan Duran?
Yes. The Coke bottle glasses, right? What did Rusty say about Bob Veal? Big Bob Veal,
Yeah,
the left-hander for the Pirates, used to strike out 250 a year and never won 20, I don't think, but always won 15 to 18 games as Farnsworth walks to Gotay.
And Gotay's on base for the 4th straight time. 2 for 2 and a pair of walks. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Audi, truth in engineering.
All right, I'll make my story short.
Chapter 2.
It's called Elements, Keith.
He said Veal's glasses used to. Veal's around 6'5", 240. Threw bullets, big curveball, and his glasses would fog up like Ryan Dern's. He'd step off the mound and pull out his handkerchief out of his back pocket and rub his glasses and then throw it over your head.
There's different ways to intimidate. Carlos Gomez takes a strike. Gomez 1 for 3, had an infield hit back in the 4th. He was the batter at the plate when the rain came in the 6th inning and forced a 40-minute delay. That's we're down 8-5 when the delay hit. Now down 10-5 as they bat in the top of the 8th. A line drive, base hit into right center. Gotay will go first to third. Gomez with his 2nd hit of the day, and the Mets starting something here in the 8th against Farnsworth. 1st and 3rd and nobody out. Gomez all of a sudden is showing a few more of the skills that have made him such a highly touted prospect.
Well, here Gator coming out again, Ron Guidry. This is a nice stroke, isn't it, Keith? A lot
Very
better.
nice level stroke right there.
I think he's gotten away from trying to swing for the fences, which it seemed like he was doing his first couple of weeks.
Well, he's very young here, and he's getting a chance to play every day, which is it's putting him right in the limelight here and giving him a chance not to be like a young player who, okay, spot plays, platoons. He's getting a chance to get his rhythm. So, I never like to make judgments on players when they're young.
And Willie has shown a lot of confidence in him. Last night was a perfect opportunity against the right-hander to have him put Ricky Leday in the lineup. But he stuck with Gomez, and Gomez obviously had a huge impact on the game last night and won himself another start today.
Well, he made that great catch, right? But he was in there mainly for his defense.
Willie likes his defense. He's not a liability in the field.
So now Reyes trying to get the Mets right back into this game, trailing 10-5. Reyes has walked twice today, stolen 2 bases, scored 2 runs, otherwise 0 for 2. And the fastball hit to center field. Cabrera right there, tagging at third Gotay. He'll trot in to score. It's a sacrifice fly for Reyes, who hit the ball well. Drives in a run, his 31st, and now it's 10-6 Yankees. But if you're the Yankees with just 5 outs to get, you'll trade that.
Well, the Yankees have some pitching issues, and you look over in the paper every day and you see Yankees playing 3-hour and 40-minute games and on a regular basis, and this will wear your club out after the course of a season. Your everyday players.
How about those 2 runs that Mota gave up in the 6th? Huge right now.
Mariano Rivera gets up along with Ron Vallone in the Yankee bullpen. Carlos Beltran 0 for 4 today, facing Farnsworth, against whom he's had a home run in his career in just 3 at-bats. Mets have a run home here in the 8th, but they need more, trailing 10-6. Farnsworth with the quick move and Gomez back.
Let's see how he stood up a little, relaxed, just for a second.
Bounces that throw, and Gomez gets back. When Farnsworth first came up with the Cubs, there was every reason to think that he was going to be a closer and a good one, but 100-mile-an-hour fastball wasn't quite enough.
The no sleeves, the interesting specs, the kind of macho kind of image that Farnsworth portrays. You know, that's not pitching. That's macho and trying to beat the radar gun. That doesn't get outs.
1-1 to Beltran.
Did that get Bruce back there? It's been a long day for Bruce. You know, as each inning passes, Bruce still can't get down any further. Watch. Oh, that got him.
Right
a good
off the
shot.
shoulder.
He's not getting down. He's tired.
Bruce Fleming in his 37th year as a major league umpire. Nobody in history has umpired more games than Bruce. He's had to shake off a few of those.
Well, you're wondering why there's the delay. There is a mutual admiration society between catchers and umpires, because catchers take those shots too. So if an umpire gets hit with a ball, he will go out and bring the ball to the pitcher to give the umpire a blow so he can relax.
1-2 to Beltran. Struck him out. Well, another rough day at the plate for Beltran. He's now 0 for 5, and they're 2 away.
This is just a fastball outside corner thrown right by him. We talked earlier about the outside. See him reaching for it. You got to do one or two things. You got to get a little, maybe move an inch closer to the plate if the outside corner feels that. Oh, I'm stepping on you here, Gary. Go ahead and read that.
Well, I'm supposed to say that coming up next on the CW11, the movie Small Soldiers. But if you want more baseball coverage after the game, you'll tune over to Nissan Postgame Live on SNY. Okay, go ahead. Here's David Wright taking ball 1.
I was not looking at the monitor. That's my fault.
But you can continue your story. That's okay.
There's a little adjustments you have to make as you go along in the course of a season when certain things aren't going right, maybe to make a difference. It's pretty apparent that Carlos right now is having trouble with the outside part of the plate, particularly the outside corner.
Wright is 1 for 4 today. Drove in a run with a first inning single. Now is a 17-game hitting streak. 2-0. Farnsworth, the 4th Yankee pitcher of the afternoon. Mets tagged Tyler Clippard for 5 runs and 3 1/3, but they didn't get a run against the Yankee bullpen until here in the 8th. And David takes a strike. 98 miles an hour from Farnsworth. 2-1.
There's still a lot of people here in the ballpark.
It's a good thing everybody has a cell phone so they can make a call and change their dinner plans.
They're out of juice by now, aren't they? As long as this game's been.
This is an everyday affair in the American League. Two and 1 to Wright. There goes Gomez, swing and a miss. Posada's throw not in time, and Gomez has another stolen base. You better make it if you're going to steal down by 4 runs in the 8th, and Gomez does his 7th.
Well, David just gets beat upstairs here big time. And I'm a bit surprised that a player like Gomez, who really hasn't been in the big leagues 2 months, has got a green light.
Maybe he did. Mets have stolen 5 bases today. They stole 5 bases last night. 2-2 to Wright. Fouls off the breaking ball. So the Mets have been running at will, but they still have a long uphill push in this one with only 4 outs to play with.
Well, you know, in the American League, they just don't play that stolen base game. So the relief pitchers are at their will, can have whatever kind of stretch they have. Mountain, he needs more Mountain Dude. Not Mountain Dude.
3-2 now.
I must say, when I was a kid, I never fell asleep at a ball game. But then again, they were
2 hours and 15 minutes.
Exactly. Back in those days.
3-2 to right with Delgado on deck. And Farnsworth taking his time.
You wouldn't have fell asleep if it was 3.5 hours. Dad would have elbowed you.
It's like a 5-day test match. 3-2 pitch. Line foul. It's like watching India and Pakistan.
Oh.
Running from wicket to wicket as the bowler prepares.
Oh.
You ever actually watch a cricket game?
Yes, I have.
I have watched one live.
Not in its entirety, of course. I watched around a half hour of it when I was over in London, and I said, that's it.
Half an hour. Barely scratching the surface.
I understand.
And Wright goes down swinging at the slider, and Farnsworth with back-to-back strikeouts gets through the inning with only 1 run scoring. 10-6 Yanks. Be sure to take the train to Shea June 18th, 19th, and 20th for the Interleague Series with the Minnesota Twins. Then the Oakland A's come to Shea for a 3-game set starting Friday, June 22nd. Go to Mets.com today for your tickets. Time for the sharp detail of the game as A-Rod comes to the plate. Sharp Aquos brings the detail home. And this was more than a detail, it was a bomb. A-Rod's 26th home run of the year. That came in the 3rd inning. It cleared the retired numbers and went into the bullpen. It gave the Yankees a 4-3 lead at the time. Mets would regain the lead and then give it back again.
Aaron Seeley in the game, his 15th appearance. His last hold, he has 5 of them, was May 19th versus the Yankees.
1-1 to A-Rod.
Usually you'd say that he's in here for a mop-up inning, but the way the game's been, lots of hits, lots of runs.
You never know.
You never know.
So now the question is, if the Yankees have a 4-run lead with Torrey go to Rivera, line base hit, and the Yankees have their 14th hit of the game. A-Rod has his 2nd, and it comes leading off in the bottom of the 8th. So after being shut out on 5 hits last night, the Yankees have come a hitting today.
Kind of shows you the job that Oliver Perez did last night's ball game.
Here's Posada, 1 for 4. He doubled and scored in the 5th inning. He was the last man Glavine faced. Glavine went just 4 innings plus, allowed 7 runs and 8 hits. Scott Schoenweiss got tagged for an unearned run in his inning of work, and Mota gave up 2 runs in his 2 innings. A-Rod already has a stolen base today.
5 walks issued by Met pitching and 6 by Yankee pitching. So it's 11 in a major league game. That's a lot.
And there have been 8 stolen bases in this game, 5 by the Mets and 3 by the Yankees. So there's been a little bit of everything. We even have sunshine now. After a rain delay an hour ago, slashed foul by Posada, 0-2. So it's a full afternoon at the ballpark.
Is it soup yet?
No. Gator's got a headache.
Tight to Posada, 1-2. Well, the Mets last night snapped a 5-game losing streak, but unless they've got a big rally in them in the 9th inning, it's going to be 10 losses in their last 12 games. And the curveball just missed. 2-2.
See, Aaron's hair has grown back a little rapidly. He was the last one to cut it, right?
He was. Maybe they need to cut it again. 3-2 to Posada. Or maybe they should all wear wigs.
The wigs. Yet on the haircuts.
Maybe they could wear Keith Hernandez wigs.
That's right, without any gray.
How about mustaches?
Of course not. Just for men. It's no gray. 3-2 to Posada. A-Rod runs, and it's ball 4, and so the Yankees have the first 2 men on. That's 6 walks today by Met pitching. And Rick Peterson, if he doesn't have a headache already, I'm sure he's developing one. Here's Hideki Matsui. Matsui has maybe the biggest hit in this game. The Mets were still very much in contact when Matsui came to bat in the bottom of the 6th with 2 in scoring position and drove home 2 with a base hit up the middle to make it 10-5. Matsui 2 for 4 on the day. Could have had a 3rd hit, but Sean Green made a diving catch in right field to take one away. Oh, and 2 to Matsui.
Well, one person hasn't fallen asleep in this ballpark. That's the guy that's got all the little cheers and the recordings of the cheers. He's wide awake. No one's responding to him, though.
I think he's trying to wake you up. 1 and 2 to Matsui.
They have autopilot for that. It just comes on anyway. After a certain time, they just put it on autopilot.
I'm impressed.
Automation's come a long way.
Yes.
Before long, they're going to have automatic announcers. They won't need us anymore.
You were thinking about that CW11 just about an hour ago.
In shallow center, Beltran makes the catch for the first out, and the runners hold. So 1 away.
You know, guys, this hasn't been the case with the Mets. In Detroit, those last couple of games, they score 7 runs in both the Saturday and Sunday game, come away empty. Today they score 6 runs, have a nice offensive output, but can't get the outs by the pitching staff. Just when they score, they can't pitch, and when they pitch, they can't score.
Well, there was a long time there where the Mets were getting solid starting pitching every day.
Yeah.
And it kind of started to break down in the Detroit series as Robinson Cano takes ball 1. But I mean, we talked about it before, you know, over this 2-week period where the Mets have struggled, starting with the Phillies and the Tigers, and even though the Dodgers aren't that high scoring team, they're a good team, and now the Yankees, you're talking about 3 of the best offensive teams in baseball, the Phillies, the Tigers, and the Yankees. 1-1 to Cano. So is it just that the level of competition has been raised, that the starting pitching has begun to struggle a little bit?
Well, the reason I'll say no is because sprinkled in those games against those good hitting ball clubs have been some amazing efforts by the Mets. Sosa, Oliver Perez last night. So they can be pitched to if you make your pitches. But if you're behind and you make mistakes, they're going to make you pay.
Cano hits one well to center field. Beltran got a late break, now racing back, and he won't get there, and it hops over the wall for a ground rule double. So 1 run will score as A-Rod comes in. Posada will stop at 3rd. A double for Cano drives in his 2nd run of the game, and it's 11-6 Yankees.
Well, a little sinker got too much of the plate, and it was up, and Cano goes with it. And you're right, Beltran did get a bad jump on this ball, and that was the difference right there. And I think in a game like this, well, A-Rod's going to go halfway. Perfectly done, and you can walk home. In a game like this, the fielders can tend to get on their heels. And I mean, this game is taking, I mean, I think we've gone through a couple prehistoric ages here in this game.
The infield in for Cabrera, who fouls it off. Helke is 0 for 3 in a sacrifice.
The Mesozoic? Or?
Well, you know, we talk about it all the time. You know, when you get a pitcher, we used to talk about it all the time with track. So you get a pitcher out there taking a long time, slowing down the pace of the game, fielders getting on their heels. And you don't often get direct evidence of it, but I think that last play certainly appeared to be that.
But there's been more evidence. I mean, just a lot of things that the fielders just don't get the good jump. You're just sitting there. You've been out here for 4 hours, 5 hours, and you know their day starts at 10 on a day game.
Hit hard down the line, foul.
If it's a close game, then maybe it's different. But in a game where you're getting towards the end here, you're 5 runs down, you tend to fall further on your heels.
Does your mind wander a little bit if you're a fielder?
Well, of course.
Yes.
I think that happens to cricket players.
Oh. Well, it's a British sport, right?
Of course, they come in for tea in the middle of the
That's
game.
right.
They
That's
get regenerated.
Tea and crumpets?
If necessary.
Little finger sandwiches also.
What exactly is a crumpet?
I don't know, but we should ask W.C. Field. That's one of his lines.
2-2 to Cabrera. And he comes inside and still he can't get the corner. It's 3-2.
Crumpet is like a biscuit, like a shortbread biscuit.
I figured.
Isn't that like a scone?
No.
Shortbread's different.
Shortbread is, they love it with their tea and it tastes great.
It's a British thing.
How about clotted cream? Fouled away. I mean, I'm thinking high tea.
High tea, I know that I've never had high tea in London. I've been to London. You've been to London, Keith.
Yes.
But I've had it in the States where in some of the hotels we stay at, they'll have tea. But it usually comes with finger sandwiches. Crumpets.
Cucumber sandwiches?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had high tea, but it was in the pubs.
That wasn't tea?
That's called Guinness.
Have a block of 10, please.
There goes Castro onto the mound.
London, England and Scotland was the only place in the world, I haven't been to a lot of places, where I didn't feel bad having a drink at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Why not?
Because the bar was packed with people having beer. It was amazing.
But they close early. 3-2 to Cabrera, and he slaps that one foul. Right? Don't they close like 11 o'clock at night?
Yeah.
So you got to get it in early.
I was not embarrassed or ashamed to have a black and tan or whatever at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock.
Watch out for that whatever.
I was on vacation.
Cabrera lines it right to Reyes, and he's got no other play. So Reyes had the quick reactions despite a 10-pitch at bat, and that's the second out.
Oh, just a fastball away. Sharp reactions by Reyes.
The most outrageous family on television is coming to the CW11 this fall. Throw the family values out the window and get ready for Family Guy. Don't miss the show packed with so many laughs it'll make your head spin. Family Guy weeknights this September right here on the CW11. Here's Miguel Cairo, who takes outside 1-0. Cairo is 2 for 4. He's driven in a couple of runs. Two and 0 to Cairo, and there's Mariano Rivera. Just wondering whether Joe would go to him. Now with a 5-run lead, looks like he intends to.
Well, he could have gone back there and taken a nap all afternoon.
Well, he hasn't pitched in 4 days, and the game is tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, so good time for him to get some work.
He should get in before 8 o'clock tonight, I think. Cairo fouls it away. Aaron Seeley's given up a run here in the 8th. Trying to keep it right where he is as he takes on Cairo. He's had a nice day hitting out of the 9 spot.
What are we in the bottom of the 8th?
I believe that's correct.
I lost track.
Fouled away.
Do we get paid?
Don't you have your colored pencils there to keep track?
Oh, that's right. I should have known. I should have looked at my card. Do we get paid by the word? We don't get paid by the word, do we?
I don't believe you do. I think, have you run out of your allocation of words for today?
Why don't we just zip it the rest of this game? Let the folks watch.
Well, I think some people
trying to experiment in broadcasting.
They can figure it out. They got visual.
Some people would applaud, you know. The only problem is they may find out they could do better without us. 3-2 the count to Cairo. Never alert the public to your own irrelevance. Another 3-2 count and a pop-up. That should end the inning. And Reyes has got it, and the side is retired. So the Yankees tack on a run. We go to the ninth in the Bronx. Rivera on the horizon. The Mets down by 5. Ninth inning at Yankee Stadium. Mets have 5 runs to make up, and they'll have to do it against Mariano Rivera.
Boy, coming into this season, 421 now, saves in his big league career. Considered by many, and I'm one of them, as the greatest reliever in postseason history and the history of the game.
Well, Rivera coming in a non-save situation. The Yankees have the fewest saves of any team in the majors, just 8. That's because their record in close games is abysmal, and all the other games they blow people out. And he comes in a non-save situation here with a 5-run lead. Now, Rivera has been touched up a little bit this year. He's already given up 3 home runs this season. He hasn't been quite as impregnable as in the past, but he is still Rivera. Carlos Delgado 1 for 4 today, singled his last time up, snapping an 0 for 14 streak. See if that gets him going as he takes on Rivera, whom he's done fairly well against in the past. And he takes the cutter for ball 1.
Rivera with 34 postseason saves. First time I ever saw Mariano Rivera, I was in an Oakland A's uniform, and starting for the New York Yankees was Mariano Rivera, starter in his first year.
Really the postseason in '95 that he really established himself. They had that tremendous series with the Mariners, and Rivera pitched inning after inning in the postseason that year. And the next year was the setup man for John Wetland, and went on from there. Pulled foul, and it's 1-2. Don't forget, after the game, if you want post-game coverage, flip it over to SNY for Nissan Post-Game Live.
The postseason against Seattle, right, Gary? We're 5 1/3 innings, 3 hits, 8 punch-outs.
On the ground toward the hole, and a base hit for Delgado. So didn't try to do too much with that, and he's got his 2nd hit of the day.
Wants the cutter in, and it didn't get there. Delgado goes the other way, fastball up and away. So Rivera does not, who's pinpoint with his control with that cutter. I mean, my goodness, over the years. Made a mistake there, and Delgado was very thankful.
So the Mets have 10 hits in the game, and now here's Loduca, who's singled and doubled, 2 for 4 on the day. And Rivera comes inside, 1-0. Rivera, the 5th Yankee pitcher of the day. Mets did most of their damage against the starter, Tyler Clippard, who gave up 5 runs in 3 1/3 innings. Luis Vizcaíno stands to be the winning pitcher. He really settled this game down for the Yankees. But the Mets again today have lacked the big hit. On the ground, base hit into right field. 3rd hit of the day for Loduca, and the Mets have the first 2 men on here in the 9th. So now we get to the trouble spot. The Mets are 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position today. In their win last night, they were 1 for 9. And now The RBI chance presents itself for Sean Green. Sean has walked twice today, otherwise 0 for 2. So the Mets trying to build something against Rivera here in the ninth. And Green fouls it away. Rivera coming on in a non-save situation reminds me of Game 2, the World Series in 2000. Remember, that was the game Clemens threw the bat at Piazza, and Clemens pitched 8 brilliant innings in that game and left. So Matsui able to hold it long enough for the first out. Here's Ramon Castro with 2 aboard. And he takes high from Rivera. Castro had a 2-run homer back in the 4th, his 4th of the season. 1 for 4 on the day. Mets have 11 hits, but they're 5 runs down in the 9th. Here's a strike, 1-1. Tomorrow night, El Duque for the Mets, Chin-Ming Wong for the Yankees. We'll be back with you on SNY on Monday night when the Twins come to Shea. And Tuesday night, we get to see Johan Santana.
He can deal. A different kind of season this year, though, after winning 19 straight games in the Astrodome.
Toward the hole, and that's a base hit for Castro. Delgado will stop at third, and the Mets have the bases loaded and 1 out. And all of a sudden, the Mets need just 1 more base runner to get the tying run to the plate here in the 9th against Rivera. Rivera's been a little more hittable this year.
Jeter got a late break on this ball. We're talking about it late in the day, long game. I think earlier in the game, Jeter makes that play.
So here's Gotay, who's been on base 4 times in a row. Home run, single, 2 walks. He's scored 2. He's driven in 1. He's stolen a base. Mike Schmidt always says you're down 5 in the 9th. You don't want the grand slam. You believe that?
I'll take a grand slam.
I'll take it in a heartbeat.
His feeling was if you hit the grand slam, you wipe the slate clean, make it easier for the pitcher, as opposed to a single here that keeps the thing turning.
I totally understand that, and I think it puts pressure on Rivera.
Gotay bounces 1 foul.
But nothing puts pressure more on a pitcher than giving up a grand slam, giving up the lead, not giving up the lead, but getting the lead close, and 1 more mistake and the game's tied. But I know what you're saying. People on base to try to keep getting base hit after base hit. Hard to do against Rivera.
There's a head on Gotay, 0-2. On the outside corner, strike 3 call. Gotay retired for the first time today, 2 out in the 9th.
Well, that was vintage Rivera right there, Ronnie. The hard cutter in on the left-hander's hand and backdoor right here.
That little tiny little backdoor cutter starts about 3 inches outside, breaks back over the corner.
So the Mets are down to their final out. And Carlos Gomez, who's 2 for 4 on the day, singled hard to right center his last time up. Trying to keep it going with Reyes on deck. And Gomez hits it foul.
Well, that was a pitch to hit right there. Yeah. Gomez was tardy. That was a cutter that didn't cut and stayed right down the pipe.
Late on the fastball. And now the Mets are down to their final strike. The
1995 series you started talking about, Gary. Carlos Gomez, 9 years old.
Rivera's pitch is fouled off. Well, Mets have gotten 3 hits off Rivera here in the 9th. But when it comes to the big outs, those are the ones he generally gets. 1-2 to Gomez. Just missed. 2-2.
Well, now he's going to go away after that one inside.
Joe thought he had that one.
Well, this ball's a strike. I think just Bruce Froman just has had a small plate. That is not high. Looks like it's on the inside corner. He's going to have to do it again, though.
Bruce is enjoying this game. He wants it to last a little longer.
Really, you got a veteran out there and a rookie. Anything close, it usually goes the veteran's way.
2-2 to Gomez. Ball 3. So Rivera, after getting ahead 0-2 on Gomez, has gone to a full count. If Gomez gets aboard, then Reyes would come to the plate as the tying run. Everybody will be in motion here with 3-2 and 2 down. Just got a piece to keep the game alive. And Gomez has had some tough at-bats today. Willie's put a lot of trust in Gomez, playing him the last couple of days against the right-handers. And it's paid off for him. Rivera trying to shut the door.
Up the middle, off Rivera's leg. A run will score, and the Mets will get the tying run to the plate. Gomez, with his third hit of the day, drives in a run. It's 11-7, and with the bases loaded, Reyes will be coming up as the tying run.
Well, nice at bat by young Gomez here. A lot of play to get on the cutter right there. Mariano not sharp today. And now it's very interesting.
4 hits in the inning. Guidry out to the mound for a talk. Rivera appears to be fine after taking that ball off his leg.
Just wanted to make sure, though. Give him a blow.
Reyes has never had a hit against Rivera. 0 for 6.
He's going to bat right-handed.
And
how about that?
It's a good call. It's a good call against that cutter. Keep that ball from getting it on his hands.
Well, let's see if Jose looks away and tries to go the other way with it.
And Rivera misses away, ball 1. 4 hits in the inning. The Mets have a run in, and they have a chance. Gomez with a terrific at bat to keep it alive for Reyes. He's 0 for 2, 2 walks and a sac fly today. Fouled away. It's going to be difficult, though, for a switch hitter not used to seeing right-hand pitching from the right side.
Well, he had a heck of a cut right there in that pitch. This reminds me of what Gary Templeton did back in, what, 79? No, yeah, 79. We got 100 hits from both sides of the plate.
Oh, we got tied up inside, and it's 1-2. Rivera figuring out a way.
Well, now after this pitch, it's going to be hard to believe that he's not going to shove another one back in there.
Fouled it away.
Well, he's really diving over that plate and getting tied up inside, Ron.
Rivera's got to stay in because he goes away. Reyes has got the stroke right now on 2 strikes. He's just trying to play pepper with this ball.
He can maybe try to waste one and throw a bait. See if they'll swing at a bad pitch. They're going back in.
1-2 pitch. And that misses. The close one, and it's 2-2.
Well, like similar to the last pitch, you see Posada wants that ball up. I'll say that one was upstairs.
Mets trying to fight back against Rivera, who's already thrown 29 pitches here in the 9th inning. Fouled away. Reyes hanging in there as Gomez did before him. Often those are strikes with Rivera on the mound, but right now they're foul balls keeping the Mets in the game. Bases loaded, 2 down. 11-7 Yankees, 9th inning. Reached 4 and foul. Well, the Mets are putting up some kind of fight here in the 9th inning.
I like it. 27 hard outs.
It's been quality at bat after quality at bat, keeping the Met fans with the rally caps around. 2-2 to Reyes. Line drive, base hit. Loduca scores. Castro stops at third. It's now 11-8, and the tying runs are on base for Beltran. The Mets have 5 hits off Rivera in the 9th inning. They've scored twice. They're a home run away from taking the lead.
Well, impressive Reyes bat from the right side. Just good hitting up the middle right there.
Went outside, Keith, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Got the ball up. And now it's up to Mr. Beltran.
Beltran is 0 for 5 today. 3 for 12 in his career against Rivera. He'll bat left-handed. And he pops it up. First pitch. Posada has it lined up. And the ball game is over. The Mets get 2 in the 9th. But Rivera gets Beltran to end the game. Quite a ball game. It took about 4.5 hours from start to finish, including a 40-minute rain delay. The Mets had 3 separate leads, but the Yankees, with all their firepower, banged out 15 hits. They got home runs from Jeter and A-Rod, and they beat the Mets 11-8.
Well, you got to give the Mets credit here. They didn't die. They were down by 5 runs and came back. Both teams came back. They had Rivera on the mound, and they could have gone quietly into the afternoon, and it was been a long one, and they didn't.
And you got to give the credit to the Yankee batters who did not go quietly after getting that big lead. Still pushed against the Met relievers, scored 3 extra runs late in the game, and then ended up being the difference.
Well, last weekend the Mets scored 7 runs in back-to-back games and lost them both to the Tigers. Today they get 8 and fall short as Tom Glavine had a rough afternoon for the 2nd straight start. Got pushed around for 7 runs in 4 innings plus and winds up the losing pitcher. Alex Rodriguez, Derek Jeter home runs for the Yankees. Ruben Gotay, Ramon Castro home runs for the Mets. Your game summary brought to you by Jeep. We're back at Yankee Stadium in a moment. Kevin Burkhardt standing by with Alex Rodriguez.
Alex, how did number 26 feel? Because it sure sounded pretty good down here.
Well, it felt good. Rolled over my first at bat, and I just want to make sure I stay through a pitch. And I thought he made a pretty good pitch, and I put a good swing on it.
Is this an indication as much that you guys are on track, and not only the 9-game winning streak, but the fact that you come right back from a loss and put a good effort out there?
Well, I thought today was very important. I mean, I was interested to see how our team would bounce back after 9 in a row, and then a great game pitched by Perez. You give those guys a lot of credit, and we bounced back nicely today.
What was the game plan going in against Glavine today?
Well, I mean, he's a Hall of Fame pitcher. You just want to basically not try to do too much and swing at strikes.
Easier, though, when he's having a little trouble, especially on the first pitch there. Is it easier to be selective in that case?
Well, he's never easy, and it's never comfortable, but, you just try to get a good pitch ahead and put a good swing on it.
How about the bullpen today, especially Vizcaino? He kind of settled the game down for you guys.
Yeah, Vizky did a really nice job, and he settled things down, and then Proctor came in, did a nice job, and we were able to score a little bit more runs.
Alex, thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Guys, A-Rod, another big one. Back up to you.
All right, Kevin, the Mets made a run. They got 2 home off Rivera in the 9th inning, but Beltran unable to keep it going, and so the Yankees steal it. We'll come back to the Bronx in just a moment.